greatest threat to our survival will not be man at all.
We are a generation commanded by fate to defend humankind.
Everyone fights, no one quits.
Incoming!
Someone made a damn mistake.
Kill them all!
Starship Troopers.
Nice.
I love to my knowledge, we're one of the few channels that actually does a trailer at the beginning. So,
Well, it takes time, but hey, there he is, Stupenzo. Come on, you apes! You want to live forever?
Hey, I was gonna say that. Don't worry. So, how you doing today, buddy?
Oh, dude, busy, but cool. As I was showing you backstage, I've been in my house for like the past 5 hours, but I've been so busy I haven't had time to actually take off shoes anyway. So, yeah, heart is racing.
Okay. As soon as we're done, you could just go run a marathon or something.
Yeah, I have more errands to run after, anyways. God.
So, hello, chat. How are you doing?
Hi, chat. Hi, everyone in the chat. Thank you guys for showing up.
All of our regulars here. We'll get a couple more people. Will start to trickle in the next 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, and, man, covering Starship Troopers today.
Yes.
Fucking, fantastic
movie I hadn't
movie.
seen in a while. I hadn't watched this movie in probably a good almost decade, so it was fun to watch again. That's what I love about our show is it gives me an excuse to break out the DVD of something I haven't watched in a while.
A decade, Jesus, man.
Hey, it's. But we got a great panel today. We've assembled our we've assembled Russ's Roughnecks, we'll call it. It's like, and let's just start bringing them in, I guess. What do you say?
Yeah, sure. Let's do that.
Well, first, he's a veteran of the channel, one of the smoothest talkers that you will ever see, with the most disproportionately bad lighting that you could possibly have, and that's our buddy Stupenzo.
Hello, I'm coming to you live from the cave. I like it dark in here. Thank you so much for having me. I know I was asked to come on my cousin Vinny and Dodgeball and Night Before Christmas, but I asked to come on this one. You
actually basically picked this one, and I was like, of course we'll do that movie. Like, why wouldn't we?
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. Pleasure to be with you, fine gentlemen. How are y'all?
You've got the slick back hair today, huh?
Yeah, he's got.
I'm starting to wear a headband because my hair is too long. I got to chop it off or just keep it growing. I don't know. Maybe I'll go.
Got a good head of hair, though. I wouldn't chop it off.
Yeah,
I chopped mine off.
Being a person who doesn't have a good head of hair. But yeah, let's get the next guest in. He is the godfather of two hoes, though apparently today he's more of meat for the grinder. Making his second appearance, the man, the myth, the sexual legend himself, and that is Mr. Brown, Private Brune, making
introducing Paul. Then it's me. Hello, everybody.
It's very rare. Everyone's getting to see Brownie's face. Yeah. This is a rarity, man.
Yeah, suck it up.
I was gonna be like, bro, you're on camera.
He's got a good beard, everybody. Everyone's finally seeing him.
Oh yeah.
How you doing today, Brownie?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. Everybody okay? Good evening, chats. Yeah. Everybody okay? Yes.
Yeah, we're doing
pretty good. We're doing good.
Would you like to see my pussy?
Sure.
Right yeah.
It's a black one.
I like how black cats just look like weird pillows or shapeless voids on your bed.
My cat sometimes ends up in my closet over here behind the mobile infantry sign, and I don't realize. And then, like in the middle of me recording a video, we'll just start scratching the wall. And I'm like, "Son of a bitch! I got to do that whole section again."
Those females like to nest.
It's a male.
A cat.
That's why I'm a dog person. Yeah,
right.
But you are actually a cat.
I am a cat, technically. Yes, that is true.
I'm just a cat.
So I guess we should bring in. We have two newcomers today. Actually,
indeed, we do.
Channel. And in a world of copycats and duplicates, she dares to be a little different, to boldly go where most YouTubers haven't gone before, and she is Anti-Derivative Jill.
Hey, hello! It's so great to be here. So the uninspired reviewer mentioned a fast beating heart rate, and that's what I had today because I'm so excited to be here, and also I'm a huge fan of Mr. Brown Alliance, so this is really cool being on a.
It's our pleasure to have you.
Two Hoes is kind of an offshoot of the Mr. Brown Alliance. That's how me and Uninspired met. So that's why I consider Brownie the godfather of Two Hoes.
All this flattery will get you everywhere.
How are you doing today, Jill?
Fantastic. Really excited. Love this movie. Seen it tons of times. And
Somebody's Siri is going off in the background. Sounds like who's that? Oh, okay, it's gone. Okay, so sorry about that. I heard someone think it was going off in the background. Sorry.
Well, I do have a family, but they are going to leave in a minute.
Okay. But yeah, we were. I had contacted you a while back, and this was one of the movies that you were really interested in doing. So we're glad to have you on.
Yeah, we are.
I'm guessing you're a huge Star Trek fan.
Yeah, just a little bit. I actually bought a 1996 calendar because they weren't selling any Deep Space Nine calendars for 2024 and the month map. So I'm good.
Cool. We'll talk about Star Trek, I'm sure, a lot on this show.
And,
maybe.
No, for real.
Our last guest is already obscuring his face backstage, but he is a former network executive comedian, and you've seen him on shows like Open Bar, hailing all the way from Canada, though we're not going to hold that against him. He is Paul. You better call him Chateau. And apparently he's actually the Barbie and Ken Star Trek.
Ooh, nice.
Right now.
Hell yeah.
Very nice.
Someone mentioned Star Trek. Hello, everyone.
Yeah. What was that?
What was it?
It's a Barbie Ken Star Trek.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It is super awesome. This is what happens when you have a wife who loves you.
The funny thing about Free Enterprise, if anyone's seen Free Enterprise that was edited by Robert Meyer Burnett.
Yep.
The only Star Trek toys they have in the movie are the Barbie ones because they couldn't get Paramount to let them have the
greedy Paramount.
Yeah.
Well, I always joked about how Starship Troopers is basically like Star Trek Future, but with no replicators. You know,
I've always compared it more to Alien and Aliens. I always felt it had more of that aesthetic and that kind of feel to it, but. I mean, it borrows a little bit from several. You know, there's a little Star Wars in there, a little Star Trek, little Aliens. You know,
for sure.
I was reading one of the earlier scripts, and it looked like there were going to be transporters, but they changed it.
I would never step into a transporter ever. I'm one of those people where I think it just kills you and then clones you, and your clone has no idea because it's got your memory. You know,
yeah, it's just a copy of you. It's like
the Prestige.
Get close enough.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'd be okay with it.
I say we already started it a little bit here, but let's go around the table and talk about everybody's experience the first time they remember the film. So I guess we'll start with Stupenzo.
I have vivid memories of going to see The Empire Strikes Back re-release in theaters back in 1995 or whatever. And then there's that teaser trailer that played, and it's like from the director of RoboCop at Basic Instinct, and it plays Blur's song number 2. Just woo! They're like machine gunning insects, and I was like, "What is this? What?" And of course, I went and saw it in the theater when I was like, 12 years old or whatever.
Yeah, somewhere around there. It was what came out in like 92 or something like that.
Yeah, it's one of those movies I've just always loved and watched and owned it on VHS and just watched it on repeat. I think it's still back there on VHS somewhere in that wall.
So, 1997.
7.
Yeah,
okay, sorry.
7. Yeah. So
I went the wrong direction. I was like, I know it's either a couple years till its anniversary or it already passed. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, but yeah, Empire Strikes Back had like a 30-second, minute-long teaser trailer, and I was just like, "What was that?" I remember leaving the movie like, "Yeah, Star Wars. What was that Starship Troopers movie? And when is that coming out? I want to see that."
How about you, Jill? What was your first experience with the film?
Well, I saw it when I was in college, way later, past when it came out in 1997. So my only regret, I've never seen it in theaters, and it's not the kind of movie that they re-release. So I don't know if I'll ever get to see it in theaters. It would be really cool.
Maybe.
But I saw it and I loved it. And at the very same time I was watching this movie, I was also getting into Star Trek. So I saw it kind of the way you did. Kind of, it's a little bit like Star Trek, except it's an anti-Star Trek. It's the reverse of Star Trek because they don't try to communicate with the alien. They don't try to say, "Hey, how are you?" and like, "Oh, we didn't realize we were on your territory." No, we're colonizing this galaxy and you're in our way.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. It's kind of a how people perceive the war and what it actually means.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe you'll luck out. I mean, it does have a serious cult following. I mean, they've spawned off multiple sequels, a couple
Even
of
cartoons.
cartoons. So you might luck out and there might be one of those theaters that you just kind of find out they're doing a showing, one day for like a 30th anniversary or something. You might be able to catch it in theaters. So.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
I
about
hope so.
Fandango.
Oh, speaking of theaters, it cost $100 million, but it didn't.
It barely
only
made
made-
that
No.
back. Yeah, it made like 120. So
So it made
121,
nothing.
yeah.
It was also robbed the best special effects Oscar from Titanic. I really think it should have won best visual
Yeah,
effects.
dude, I think Paul Verhoeven should win every year if he makes a movie with best special effects. I've been saying this for a while. I constantly think Paul Verhoeven has made like a deal with the devil to have his films age so well because they look incredible to this
He's one of my
day.
favorite filmmakers. And his newer movies like Benedetta and The Black Book are all excellent. They're so good.
I like them.
How about you, Paul? What are you the first time you encountered this film?
I'm a Verhoeven fan. As a Canadian, it was really easy for me to see what he was doing. He throws in a lot of anti-American irony into his movies. RoboCop sends up corporate America. And, it's one of those things where I could imagine people watching that going, yeah, that's right. Not realizing, you know what? He's actually sending you folks up. And I think Starship Troopers is absolutely an attack on militarism. Right.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, definitely.
Sugar coats it. And I remember arguing with people. Well, anyway, I saw it live in the theater. It was fantastic. One of the first things that struck me was I think it was maybe the first 3D movie where the 3D effects weren't languorous and we weren't they weren't presented in a slow-mo-ish kind of way to show the brilliance of their work. No, the bugs came hard, came out of nowhere, and I'd never seen any kind of 3D like that before. And that I went, wow. That was because I'm a 3D nut, and we used to be a 3D shop, so we know how difficult that is. And the fact that he just threw the bugs at them, and we could see that the polygon structures were quite blocky, but it was brilliant in terms of the fact that it was in bugs that didn't need that was by accident. That didn't need the kind of rendering that a dinosaur would have with the the smoothing and things like that. It was,
Exoskeletons.
Yes, the exoskeletons are very flat if you see it. So they were able to render them. I mean, even though it cost a lot of money. And I was just so impressed with Michael Ironside is a Canadian. I had to go see it. And to me, and then seeing, I don't know if you guys picked it up at the time, or maybe you're told later, but the complete lift from Lenny Riefenstahl's ad for Triumph and the Will in the movie. And I went, holy crap, this guy is really layering on all sorts of stuff that I'm sure an awful lot of the audience absolutely has no idea this got lifted from Lenny Riefenstahl.
Well, often a lot of people, myself included, will call it's a very intelligent film that is masquerading as a dumb film.
Correct. And you argue with people saying, oh, why they hired all the beautiful people? That was the point. That was the point, you idiots. They had to look like models. That was utterly you could. Anyways, anyone with half an intelligence would be able to understand that.
Also, the Beverly Hills 90210 Melrose Place looking characters, but also the similar TV lighting. Like everything's very lit like a TV show, and it's very stupid young people being tricked into go into a war and realizing it's not that easy that they're selling it to be.
Right, and then there was the nudie bits in the shower, which was
of course.
Right, and a lot of people were upset that they looked like Nazi soldiers with the uniforms and everything, and so they thought they were serious, that this was a serious promotion of this type of government.
It took a long time for people to realize what this actually was.
Right.
The thing is, I'm kind of in the boat that basically Verhoeven kind of only really gives the movie a fascistic aesthetic, and when you really break down what's going on in the movie, I don't really see and a whole lot of fascism, militarism probably, but it is like a military based war movie.
Yeah.
So I mean, we'll get into it, but like, yeah, I'm in the boat that the Terran Federation did nothing wrong, and
don't worry, that's gonna be the last thing we talk about. Is gonna be like who is in the right. But
I'm not entirely certain of that. But then again, you had Doogie Howser come in, and we realized just what kind of outfit.
His outfit at the end is like, what the hell? You know, it's like,
but let's get Mr. Brown's opinion on, or not opinion, sorry, his experience with the film.
Mr. Brown, how are you?
You're right, my friend.
Good to see you again.
Are you well? The year was 1997, New Year's Eve, and I went out to an all-nighter raving. So you can imagine what state I was in.
Oh, yeah.
New Year's Day in the UK.
That rhymes.
Indeed. Starship Troopers released. What an amazing come-down film for all-night raving. It was just so fantastic. I think this film was too intelligent.
Yes.
For its own good.
Mm-hmm.
I just saw it as a really good sci-fi action film. I didn't understand the the militarism level.
Yeah, the subtext.
Didn't understand it. Didn't it above my? It just straight above my head. Such a great film. This is for me. This is part of the Verhoeven trinity. I think this is, as much as I like RoboCop, I think this just
ekes it out a little bit.
Just passes it. It's marginal. It's his masterpiece. I've just watched it before I came on. It still holds very, very well. 20, how many years later? 26, 27. Still looks great.
Oh yeah.
There are plot holes.
Yeah.
Yes, a lot of them.
There's a few.
Okay,
it's
there
like
is
the
a few actually.
stuff.
There is a
the
few
asteroid
actually.
stuff is like, what?
Yeah, there is a few that I was actually trying to figure out while I was watching it today, and I think there is one major plot hole. The rest it could probably get away with, but I'll talk about.
It's not a perfect film by any stretch, but it doesn't need to be. It wasn't trying to be a perfect film. It was trying to do a specific thing.
For my feelings are, I think this was, and I remember this at the time, thinking this was the 90s Star Wars
a lot of people
experience for grown-up people, or for those people who were those kids who watched Star Wars 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It is a shame this made no money. Obviously the main market is America, and it just went straight above
Edge of Tomorrow didn't make any money.
Yeah, it went straight above.
Well, the big problem was it came out at the exact same time as Titanic, which was eating up just all the market share, and it went head to head with, before people realized it was garbage, Alien Resurrection, which was which at the time, I mean,
when was it out in the US?
It
was November, wasn't it?
Yeah, November 7th.
Yeah, I think it should have been slated as a summer blockbuster. I think.
Yeah. So it had these two big negatives. There was a more well-known, established IP in the same vein of it going at the same time, and this just money printing machine in Titanic at the time.
Yeah.
So
I genuinely think if this had made money, this could have been the grown-up Star Wars for the 90s, early zeros. Early 90s.
I mean, it's still done pretty well considering the way it started.
Oh, it was huge in it's up there with Highlander with regards to VHS and DVD sales.
Yeah, I think the studio was Buena Vista, and I think
probably
they missed.
It was also badly marketed. I remember at the time they really didn't understand how to market it.
This should have made a lot of money.
Yeah, at least it's become a cult classic, thankfully.
Oh yeah.
It's
so
finally got its reputation.
Uninspired. So why don't you?
Oh,
Tell us.
yeah, sure. I mean, my first experience with the movie was, I think, a couple of years ago. So I would say around 2019, I would guess, would be the first time I had watched it because I was rewatching all of Verhoeven's films. And man, I had always loved RoboCop, but I think, as Brown said, to me, Starship Troopers was just a little bit over it. And man, it easily became one of my favorite of his films, in addition to Hollow Man, which I know a lot of people don't really like, but I fucking love Hollow Man. But yeah, I just think that it's a great film. As we said, it's ahead of its time. Well, Paul in general, he was ahead of his time. So, and it's just a dude outside of America coming in and showing the Americans how you fucking do it. It's crazy.
I will say before I forget, for anybody who loves sci-fi, spaceships, design, stuff like that, it's a proper wet dream. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, some of the coolest
Amazing.
spaceship designs.
So good.
So I guess that just leaves me. So when the first time I watched this movie, it was a few years after it came out. So I was really into the game StarCraft, and somebody had told me that StarCraft had a lot of similarities to this movie. And it does, because one of the evil races they're evil only if you choose them to be, but as the Zerg, which is a very, very similar to the Arachnids. And so, I watched the movie, and I even back then I knew there was more to it than what I was watching. But it didn't really click until I saw it later in life, how good it really was and what it was doing. The cast is fantastic. It's become one of those things where, like, I hadn't watched it for a while. When I go back, I'm like, oh, I need to watch this more often. I need to watch this at least once a year. And it had a lot of interesting little stories about how it came to be, with Verhoeven not even liking the source material, which is really rare for someone to. I mean, back then at least. Nowadays, people just come on and direct whatever the fuck they feel like. But back then it was usually someone signed on because they loved the source material, and he basically wanted to change it around. And I think he did it pretty well. And it's just some people out in the chat talking about the castings, and these almost all these actors were at their peak of good lookingness, if you will. They're peak attractiveness, which should have helped aid the film, in my opinion, but it didn't.
Casper Van Dien doesn't even look like a real human
person.
When
he
looks
like a Ken doll.
Yeah,
he looks like a doll from Team America World Police. Exactly, looks like one.
Totally.
But yeah, I mean, you guys all summed up a lot of it, so I just have one thing to ask all you guys, and that is, come on, apes! Do you want to live forever? And let's start the damn movie.
You guys want to stream forever?
You want to stream forever?
Shit.
The only good bug is a dead bug.
Dead bug.
I'm doing my part.
Yeah, I mean, as you say that, just before we start, a super chat by Big Worm for $5. Hail, just doing my part.
I'm doing my part too.
Thank you, Big Worm.
You won't believe the movie that I match up to this. You'll never guess in a million years. My other ironic anti-American movie, Wag the Dog.
Oh, that one is spot on.
To me, these two movies are bookends.
True.
All right.
Speaking of big worms, I think the Arachnids were rejected Tremors sequel creatures. Is that true? I've heard that before. That's why their mandible looks so similar to the Tremors monsters, the graboids.
Maybe. I mean, but back then they probably passed around a lot of special effects designs because people were just doing them out the wazoo. It was crazy. Man, well, I mean, let's get into it. So we got TriStar Pictures, which, hey, TriStar is still here. Can't say that for a lot of other ones.
Yeah.
Starship Troopers.
I love this bland, Gotham font. Just what, simple.
Yeah, it's just.
I think that's Helvetica, but we can go on.
Sure.
I was a type designer.
Hell yeah.
Ooh, nice. And of course, we already started with a message from the Federal Network.
I think it's Franklin Gothic, but moving on.
It's a font.
No, the O is wrong.
Well, here's
I'm a graphic designer as well, believe it or not, but moving on.
Clearly not a good one.
I will font wars you. Moving on.
Well, I mean, I'll play the message from the Federal Network, everyone.
Young people from all over the globe are joining up to fight for the future.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part too.
Join the mobile infantry and save the world. Service guarantees citizenship.
Would you like to know more? Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
I love that.
Yeah, the entire the way that they do exposition in this movie, I think it's great. It's something that it seems very natural, and especially for what the movie is trying to push on you, it works very well. However, maybe I wouldn't know, because for those of you who don't know, maybe on the panel and in the chat, I was born in 2002. This is way before my time. So yeah, like I wasn't there when this was rolling out.
Well, that's no excuse.
I mean,
The bugs send another meteor our way.
oh yeah. Was after the Buenos Aires attack, the message. So planetary defenses would technically be better than ever, I would guess.
Yeah, because this is a year later. So
Plot hole.
why is it a plot hole?
Why is it a plot hole?
How could the asteroids travel such a vast distance in
Well,
space?
that's
Oh.
actually a possibility that is not actually happening. That's part of the.
It would have made much more sense if the planet, instead of Buenos Aires going up, it was an Earth colony nearer to Clendathu.
Yeah.
That'd have been made
Right.
more sense.
This biggest
you-
problem with this movie, there needs to be like exposition or dialogue
That's
about how
the
there's,
only
like, a
gaping
wormhole.
hole.
There's like a wormhole
really.
somewhere nearby that they're sending the meteors in. That somehow, I don't know, because that would also
Yeah.
explain how we're getting back and forth. But basically, that quarantine zone, we just don't go there because arachnids, they're dangerous.
Yeah.
So you mean every asteroid doesn't have an FTL drive? That's the biggest thing. Shouldn't the bugs have spaceships?
Yeah,
Well, they don't, do they? Because they are colonized
have-
by spores.
yeah, bug plasma.
Yeah, I guess. That's
yeah,
it.
they shoot.
Like,
They shoot plasma and stuff out.
they send asteroids and plasma, I guess. Yeah. And so there it is, the Clendathu system that's very far away, and we are there. It's like, yep, they're still sending in fucking asteroids.
Yeah. Also, some of the best planet names: Clendathu, Tango, Urilla. Just like these names are great. I know that's Heinlein's doing, but God, they're so cool. Phonetically.
Oh, yeah. And of course, we are there. And man, Clendathu has to be destroyed because of the constant meteor showers. And we go live at the invasion. And yeah, we get our first look at the spaceships, which I fucking love. I think they're great. They hold
They
up.
look great. They look amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Well, this was a magical time at the end of the 90s where they had to use CGI and practical effects together.
And most of the almost half the budget went to the CGI for this. So
Perfect match as well.
Yeah, back when people were actually forced to use practical effects to mix with CGI, you couldn't just fix everything in post. And that was unless you wanted a very shitty product.
So it's funny because I actually like the fact. So like obviously by modern standards, at the time this was amazing looking. Modern standards, you can now see it. Okay, clearly that's CGI and stuff. I actually like that it looks like that. It kind of gives it an aesthetic that's unique to itself, and I love that about it.
Oh yeah, and well, I guess let's see the live report from the planet.
It's an ugly planet, a bug planet, a planet hostile to life.
Well, he's having a bad day at work.
Looks dope.
You get to see him die twice.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you get to see him die twice the exact same time.
Oh yeah, and then of course at this point we don't know that this is Rico, our main character, and man, I do think that one thing that they never take into account is the fact that you have a huge artery in your thigh, and a lot of these people get hit in their thighs, and they don't bleed out in 5 seconds, which is crazy.
It's all bone.
Yeah.
It's all bone that's destroyed. Yeah, I don't know. Your femoral artery, man. It's not. You
I
got
guess.
lucky, I guess.
Yeah. And then of course, yeah. And so, what do you guys think about the designs a bit of the bugs? I guess.
I love them.
Really?
Yeah.
I love the design of the bugs.
The
think they're
bugs,
great.
they don't have 8 legs. They're arachnids. but they don't have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
they
guess
only have 4.
if you count the top and bottom mandible as legs, sure. But I love the colors. I mean, yeah, they don't really make sense to us. Like how do they eat? Apparently they eat dirt. They can eat any kind of organic matter. So that explains like how they all survive and stuff.
So I
I
guess
love
they
the
don't really
bugs.
eat the people.
I love them.
Yeah, I think they look great. They, like I said, even if it's not true, but like definitely give me Tremors vibes. Some kind of Tremors offshoot creature.
Phil
Big
Tippett.
pointy they're just stabbing creatures. That's what they're built to do, is stab things. Like,
do any of you know the stand-ins that they used for the because obviously the CGI isn't there when they're reacting. Does anybody know the story about like how they would do that?
Nope.
No.
So they had first they were just using like brooms and stuff, like people holding brooms that would be like relatively the height. And after a while, that just wasn't getting the reactions that they wanted. So Paul Verhoeven himself would like stand in front of them where they were supposed to be, and he would literally scream at them, "I'm a giant bug and I'm trying to kill you," and like waving his arms around. So somewhere out there there's like there's footage of him doing that. I want that version of the movie. I just want the Paul Verhoeven cut.
Just oceans and oceans of the director.
The thing that's nice about Verhoeven is that you know that he loved the technical side of things, the way RoboCop was going to look like, and he was what I call and he was interested in gear porn.
Yes,
and I think gear porn is a very important part of enjoying these kinds of movies. You want to see the mechanics of it. The bugs were supreme gear porn in this. This is my biggest argument against the Disney Star Wars movies, is that J.J. Abrams had absolutely no interest in the mechanics of the stuff he was doing. And you don't see any not languid, but you don't see moments of stuff like this. You knew that Verhoeven understood it, wanted his aesthetics to be there right down to the spaceships, right? And
yeah, I think it's fucking fantastic what he's managed to pull off with Starship Troopers, and especially the amount of world building that he puts, especially in the first act. First act where they're all kind of graduating the tail end of high school and all that. That's like fucking fantastic. So,
well, you're right when you say that he actually really put a lot of work into the details of it, because he actually hired a former U.S. Marine named Dale Dye to provide military advice.
Oh, nice.
Because he did boot camp.
Yeah. He's the guy at the end who says, "What's it thinking, Colonel?"
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Okay. That's good. And there he is, the man, the myth, the legend, Michael Ironside. God,
great CGI.
There's a running thing about how he can't have his arms intact in Paul Verhoeven movies.
Yeah, that's true. They get chopped off somewhere.
Somehow his arm is always missing at some point in the movie.
Oh yeah,
he was great. He was just fantastic, and
he has such gravitas as an actor, Michael Ironside, and he manages to lend. I don't know this. He can be fierce, but at the same time, it can be soft. But he's still I can't even explain it. It's such a good thing, and I don't think that a lot of actors today are at the level of Michael Ironside. I think his face also helps.
Yeah, it's like Rico. Pay attention.
He plays such a good like grizzled military veteran. He's done it like 20 times.
Yeah.
Originally, this part was offered, or at least they considered Michael Douglas, and I'm glad they didn't go that route. I don't think that would have worked.
No, that would have been horrible for this role.
Ironside has a cameo in Blackberry, the movie, and it's great.
I watched a Hallmark holiday movie recently, and he's the curmudgeon father. It was
really
yes. I'll try to figure out what that one
Damn,
was called.
how his career has fallen.
No, it was actually I like Hallmark movies, unironically.
Ironside would also make a good Red in that 70s show.
Yeah, Red Foreman. Yeah, he's got the look.
Speaking of Verhoeven bad guys.
Yeah, Pumpkin Everything is the name of the movie he's in. Check it out.
Right. Well, I guess now he's teaching everyone about the failure of democracy and the difference between a civilian and a citizen. So, I mean, let me just quote the text here. A citizen accepts personal responsibility for the safety and body politic, defending it with his life, and a civilian does not. So,
The exact words
yeah,
of the text.
exact words of the text. So I've been told, of course.
Do you understand it though? Do you believe it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Ironside was actually a really big fan of the book when he was younger. He did and like there was like an interview about it. He was probably the one who questioned the most about the changes to the movie on set. So
a big part is like Ratchek's character is actually two characters in the book. It's Ratchek and Dubois, but they combine into two characters, which I think is a fine change.
They do that a lot.
It's a
Well,
fun
I think
surprise
one
to
of the
do that.
changes was that Heinlein seemed to be a Nazi.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, Highlands was the whole space war with Bugs is just a vehicle to give off his, future kind of, meritocracy, utopia, federal, military type universe. It's kind of like, Ayn Rand.
Ayn Rand in space. Yeah.
Brownie, you were about to say something. You got cut off.
Would the world be better off with, is it conscription?
So
2
this
years
isn't
2 years service.
Well, this isn't. I wouldn't call this conscription because it is still voluntary,
right?
But they give you heavy incentives, so it's not. I wouldn't quite call it conscription.
And
if you want rights, if you want your human rights.
Well, that's not true because we see that Rico's parents are a long generation of civilians, and they get along fine. They don't live under the boot of the military. They don't live in poverty. So
actually,
the idea
they're rich
being,
as hell.
Yeah, being a civilian is not necessarily a bad thing, but the citizens, primarily the biggest difference is the citizen gets to vote. If you want to engage in politics, you have to, do your bidding. And the thing is, like you said, it's completely voluntary. In fact, they constantly try to get you to quit. That's like their main goal, to get you to leave. You don't be here. You don't belong here.
It's almost like
but
they
that's
don't
not the
want
only
you
thing.
to.
That's
Not
not
true.
the only thing. There's some evidence that in the movie that some of your human rights are suspended if you're not a citizen. Like the one girl who says, "I want a baby," so
it's easier to get a license. Right.
A license.
But they imply that it is possible to get a license without it. But yeah, I mean, the idea of like they're checking birth rates and stuff is Orwellian and strange.
That stuff isn't necessarily that's kind of like an exaggeration of existing things in the United States. I mean, there are programs that allow for veterans to get easier loans for homes and stuff. So it is just an exaggeration of existing things.
Your education will be paid for as well.
Yes, that's another one that's a real flat out thing. The GI Bill in the United States is a huge incentive to join the military.
Oh, wow. Man, I don't know, man. Like, for example, here I know that it was mandatory to do, I think, 1 year, but they stopped. I think Switzerland is probably the only one because I've got my buddy when we graduated high school a few years ago. He went off directly to Switzerland to do his 1 year of military service. So over there, I know that it's still obligatory.
Yeah, but Switzerland's neutral, so you're literally
Well,
just going to hang out with your
just
buddies for a
chilling.
year.
Basically, yeah.
There's a difference between service guarantees citizenship and citizenship guarantees service. One is worse than the other.
If I had my time again, I think I would do 2 years service.
Sure.
Yeah, I thought about joining up in the military actually just before starting YouTube. So that could be something.
Man, how different the world would be.
Oh yeah. And so in this scene we kind of set up the love triangle between Rico, Dizzy, and Carmen. And I think it's good. We do get a bit of technology of the time. Well,
what was it? Princess Fiona in the chat. I'll see if I can find it, but she did mention that they basically invented the iPad for this movie. Let me see if I can find it. I know I said it, but here it is.
It was TNG who invented it.
Reinvented.
Or reinvented
Oh,
the
yes,
iPad.
that's
Sorry.
right.
Yeah.
TNG.
So they reinvented it.
The only
That,
problem with TNG is that they have a pad for everything.
One
that
thing that's
stylus looks very much like the one from the Newton.
I wouldn't
Very well
be shocked if it was. I actually reused a lot of the props from this movie. I know that the helmets were reused for that really shitty Planet of the Apes that came out a few years later.
the one with Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, like they reused the helmets for that, and so like a lot of that, like Paul, you could speak. You've worked in the industry. You know that they to cut costs here and there, they'll reuse props and stuff all the time.
Well, there's giant warehouses of props and costumes everywhere.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, that's a natural thing to do, especially in a low budget movie. In fact, oh god damn it, the guy who did the Transformers movies, what's his name?
Michael Bay.
Michael Bay actually lifted a car chase scene from one of his previous films. That's not costume, but he lifted the whole thing, used it again, and in one of his Terminator movies. And so yes, I mean this is pretty common practice, especially in TV. TV has less money than movies, and so they're just going to go to this giant warehouse and reuse stuff and reuse sets. There's a lot of that going on.
One thing I will say about this scene, because you did mention that it's a the establishment of the love triangle. There's the fact that there's two conjoined love triangles is actually a pretty interesting aspect of this film.
Oh yeah. I think it's great. It just adds one thing I do appreciate about Starship Troopers, where I do give it the edge over RoboCop. It's the fact that they feel like they're supposed to be one-dimensional caricatures, not even characters. But the movie just does so much to make them three-dimensional, and that extra effort is something that I appreciate immensely.
That's right. The actors don't know they're in a satire. They play it very seriously.
They actually dialed back Denise Richards' character a lot. So in the original cuts,
Oh yeah.
Oh, you want to take it, Spenzo? I'll let you.
I mean, I know that there was a lot of stuff like featuring her getting with Xander and other stuff, but basically, like a test audiences like hated her, like wanted her.
I still hate her.
So they removed a lot of the stuff. Paul Verhoeven didn't really understand it. He's like, all the violence and stuff is fine, but the idea that what's her name? Denise Richards is playing Tiddlywinks with Rico's heart. I don't know.
Yeah.
Audiences did not like her character at all.
So they wanted to turn her basically into a more career-driven person is the reason why she leaves him, and then flat out she just cuts it off. Whereas in the original cut, there was a lot more scenes where she would consider, do I want to be with this guy? Do I want to be? And I don't know why that was something that the test audiences didn't connect with, because that's a pretty common thing. But maybe it was just too juxtaposed to the rest of the story.
Maybe. I mean, to me, she comes off as a massive bitch in this movie. It really
she's the actual villain of the movie.
She does cause the Arachnid War. If you listen to some people's theories, like she's the one who knocked that first asteroid out of orbit into Buenos Aires.
Right, because she changes Xander's navigation for it.
Yeah, it's a fun theory.
She was great in Undercover Brother. That's all I have to say.
Oh yes, I love her in Undercover Brother.
Well, this was like the late 90s was like peak Denise Richards, pre her getting with Charlie Sheen and all that stuff, and that really took her career in a completely different direction.
That was an asteroid. That was an asteroid crash for sure.
She was a Bond girl as well.
Yes. But this was like when she was at like her best in her career. She was getting the most roles. She was at her youngest and most attractive period of time. She was also like a late choice for this movie. Originally, it was supposed to be Nev Campbell.
I don't want to get into it on this stream. Oh, but that's Wild Things. There you go.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the connection. But she was filming one of the Scream movies at the time. I think Scream 2 at the time.
Yeah. Scream 2.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into it on the stream, but you guys should look up some of Denise Richards' horror stories of living with Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, that's why I said this is before she went nuts.
Your jaw would be on the floor at the stuff that he was doing. It's crazy.
Well, and so we finally get all the results of all the students, and I guess still, I mean, when I was graduating high school, this was kind of how it was, except that it wasn't electronic. It was just a fucking piece of paper in front of everyone, so everyone could see your grades as well.
Yeah, it's a good shaming method, or
it is actually
motivation.
Brownie, you were about to say something.
This is based in the 23rd century, by the way.
Yeah, I actually had a note here about the year that it actually takes place. Let's see if I can find that again.
I didn't have this when I went to school, but my economics professor had his dad unfortunately passed because of potassium deficiency. So everybody who got an A would get a banana.
The year that it took place was 21, 97, or 98, depending on which portion of the movie.
Oh, okay.
In
All right.
the year
One of the
22.
neat aspects of the school is that it's a reminder of all those animes that 90% have a major school component in them.
Yep.
Oh, right.
Oh yeah. Like
Well, they do address it in a little later that the Rico's father, Rico Senior, whatever, I don't know, but he brings up that they're basically using the schools as recruitment grounds. Yeah, these like public high schools are essentially recruitment grounds.
Yep. I mean, yeah. Well, look at what they're teaching you in high school. You know, you have this entire scene with them dissecting the bug, which is.
I love
cool.
that they do this without any gloves.
A Sarkarian sand beetle. Yeah, I'm sure your soap technology is light years ahead of ours. Just wash your hands.
Jill, you're about to say something?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that the teachers, both of the teachers we see are
Handicapped.
disfigured in some way.
Yeah.
They're handicapped. One's
Presumably
blind.
from service, maybe.
Stupenzo, you've been you've been
my
stating
favorite.
it.
This is my favorite Rue McClanahan movie, behind shortly in front of Child of the Bride and Baby of the Bride. Rue McClanahan, I love her, especially in this movie, even though it's such a small role and so random.
It is random, yeah. Yeah, so
Always good when you see one of the Golden Girls in something.
Thank you for being a friend.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good scene. It tells us what we need to know kind of about the bugs and the perception of everyone and how they kind of live with it, you know, everyday life, and they don't really see them as a huge threat. It's kind of the equivalent of the war isn't in my next door neighbor's house, so I don't really give a shit, you know.
It's also a key component in explaining the bugs' mentality, because they are literally a hive mind. They are literally like evolved to be like communism. You know, like there's ranks and stuff, but the idea is, like they said, they don't fear about death. It's all not about the individuals. It's all about the hive. You know?
Oh yeah, it's about the hive, man.
I remember rewatching this scene. I mean, of course I remembered. I watched it last night, but as I was rewatching it, I was just sitting there like, it is. I'm rewatching it again right now. This is the reaction most people would have. It's like, you're literally hands.
Speaking of bananas,
yeah.
Those are chewed up bananas that she spits out of her mouth.
Oh, I'm not shocked by that. They usually use either that or oatmeal or something to represent.
Yummy.
They seem to match the bug's guts pretty well. Cameron wouldn't be very good as an infantry soldier. So she's a pilot.
I've always joked about how like the face hugger looks kind of delicious. Those don't look delicious.
Professor R2, who actually is a
professor,
an educator, just said that if I posted grades like that from a couple slides ago, I would be fired post haste, illegal in the United States. That is true. It is confidential information in the United States.
What? Really?
Yes.
When did that happen? Because it wasn't when I was a kid.
Nowadays they can't do it. I mean, years ago they could do that kind of. Well, first thing that they did was they tapered it down to now you could say whether a person did good with honor roll and all that stuff. Now it's like, I don't even know if you can do that anymore.
Yo, in my school, they just fucking shame you. Like, if you didn't get your shit, they just not call you to.
You go to school you went to school in France. They shame people for everything in France.
When I went to high school, a fail was 59.
Oh yeah.
And if you failed one class, you redid the entire year.
Oof, nice. Jesus.
A failure is a 64 or less in the United States. So 60, no, maybe it's a 65 or less. But some schools skip some private schools like merge in failure with the D and all that stuff. So it's like, but like your standard public school, it's 65.
No, thank God I was a smart kid.
65, really that high?
Yeah. It's actually we
C
have
and D.
I know that like the United States gets a lot of shit for our school system around the world, but it's like in certain sections of the country, it's actually really people have to remember it's a very big country,
right?
With a lot of people in it. So, but yeah, we have a fairly high standard for failure comparatively to a lot of other countries.
I think it was below 69 for me.
So by high standard for failure, it means you want as many as you can get.
Yes, we want more failures.
To clarify that. Yes.
It's a business here. It's a business of stealing money from the government.
We need as many failures as we can get.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of failures, Rico is a big failure.
Yeah. Let's get back to the film real quick.
He's not really very book smart.
No.
Well, he's not psychic either. So.
Oh yeah.
Just built for the infantry. He even has the face of a fucking infantryman. You know, just like
he's got that. Yeah, he's got that square jaw.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's
Oh,
in
the
great
girls
shape.
liked him.
Yeah, so in this scene, we finally get, kind of more world building on the fact that psychic abilities exist, and this is Carl and Rico that are trying to see if Rico has any. And of course, there's a Ciano over there just chilling. Nice. Then we move on to the game, which to me, I think that this is just Paul Verhoeven trying to show you how grandiose the NFL can kind of be, because it's just everyone's doing flips and everyone's getting hit and doing backflips after they get hit. I do find it kind of entertaining.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
got it's
a
a
different name.
combination. It's a combination of like NFL football rules with a little bit slightly more rugby oriented stuff here.
Yeah,
I don't know.
want to say this. I think the sport is called jump ball. There you go, jump ball.
So maybe somebody can answer this, because this was one thing I couldn't figure out. So they're at the school. It's a high school game. Xander is from a different school, but he gets invited. He's still at the dance later. It doesn't make sense to me how this is like one of the few moments where I was really confused.
I don't understand. Do the teachers, do they have a uniform that they impose that's pretty like laxed and versatile? Or does everyone just shop at the same store?
I don't know. That might just be that might have just been a cost cutting measure for them.
But I love I do like the future style. Is everything's solid colors with like color coordinated layers and undershirts and stuff. No patterns or designs or logos on anything.
So nobody picked up on whether or not he's spelled, because I went back and rewatched the scene again. I was like, did they mention he's from this is a different school? Because they don't have like a school name on. They just have the name of the team. So is it like, I was thinking in my mind, is it kind of like Harry Potter, where it's like all the teams are from the same school, just different portions of it or something?
I don't know, but I'm happy to see that solo cups are still a thing in the year 2197.
But not plastic straws.
That company's resilient, man.
Oh yeah,
but not red. Unfortunately, they're not red solo cups, though.
I don't know if he's from a different school, but Cameron invites him, so it doesn't matter where he's from. He's going to.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Carmen.
You've got Carmen and what's his name, Xander. He's basically picking up Carmen, and which just begins my hatred of Carmen for the movie. Because hey, isn't she supposed to be with Rico? I don't know. Man.
He just got done tackling your boyfriend, and now he's like talking to you in front of everybody, and your boyfriend can see, and he's getting all distracted.
Yeah, and of course, they win the game because Rico and Dizzy have their complicity, which of course is explored later in the film. And man, Dizzy,
they're the actual soulmates of the movie, but Rico needs some sense knocked into him.
Yeah. And then of course we go see the family, man. And man, these guys are fucking rich, as we said before. They're well off.
Yeah, he's like, the idea that it's like, it doesn't seem very fascist. The idea that it's like, you're not going to join the army, you're going on vacation. You understand me, young man? It just seems like the future's not too bad. Even if it is some kind of militaristic society.
They do set up the aspect of capital punishment, because I think his dad says at one point, I'd rather get 10 lashes in the public square or something like that.
They talk about it on the book more, where the idea is like, why waste money in incarcerating people? You take your licking, you get back you go back to work, and we all move on. That's, corporal punishment in a nutshell in the future. And honestly, not opposed to it. The idea. I don't know.
I mean, yeah.
If you could have that instead of a prison sentence, cool with it.
Save some money. And also the idea that like once you get your lashings, that's it. We're back to square one. No hard feelings on both sides of the law.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, so I mean, this scene is just basically to set up the fact that his parents really disapprove of him wanting to go there, and his mother kind of thinks that he's doing it for Carmen, which of course we know that he is, sadly. Which, don't do that, kids. Don't just join the army because a girl that you like said that she's going to join it too. Definitely.
I hope you're not doing this. I hope you're not doing this over some silly little girl who wants to look handsome in a uniform. Don't talk about Carmen that way, Mom.
Oh, he wasn't talking about Cartman. Oh, that now.
Hey, you guys.
There we go. Sorry, all this time. And I felt badly for her. Like, she was always sweet, out of luck, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. One thing is also the fact that he says that to his parents that he won't join them because they offer him a trip to, I think it's Zaguma. That's
No,
is that how they say it?
Zagama Beach.
Zagama Beach. Thank you.
Zagama Beach.
The
Zagama Beach. Thank
Boomavoo
you. Yeah.
with the Cart brothers, Kraft brothers.
Yeah.
So we finally get to the dance, and of course, Diz tries to steal him away. They dance a bit, and man, go ahead.
She was in Star Trek Nemesis.
Mm-hmm. Dragonheart.
That was one of the Romulans.
Dina Meyer.
Yeah.
Yeah. She has nice teeth.
She's got a very I want to say like cat-like kind of feline type of appearance face. I don't know. Man-eater. That's what kind of look.
I've never heard that one before. So you kind of got the love triangles just browsing about. You've got Xander that's trying to pick up again, Carmen. You've got Rico that's breaking them up, of course, and yeah. And, go ahead.
I was saying a fun fact is Basil Pomodorus, who did the music for this movie, his daughter actually sings this David Bowie cover.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it's I love this cover. I love this version too.
I like it. I like the song. I really like the song.
Yeah, love her.
And of course, this just before we move on, he does talk to Michael Ironside's character, which how do you say it? Raschek, right? Raschek. I'll call him Michael Ironside.
Yeah, that's really hard to.
I heard
figure
it's
out,
Dutch for asshole, but I don't know if that's true.
I didn't realize she was in Star Trek Nemesis. She's Commander Denatra, and she's the Romulan that Shinzon says, "You're not a woman," or whatever.
Yeah, Dina Meyer looks good with dark hair for sure.
Yeah, Dina Meyer looks good, anywhere. So that's pretty much it.
But also, that's one of my favorite lines in the whole movie that I love to quote a lot in my day-to-day life is like, figuring things out for yourself is one of the only freedoms anyone really has. Use that freedom, Rico. Make up your own mind. And it's like, I love telling people that. Make up your own mind. Why are you asking me? Like,
it's fantastic, man. It's just great to have Michael Ironside do the role. Yeah, what's his name? Michael Douglas would have never fucking given that grab.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, no.
Absolutely not.
And then, of course, here we are, Starfleet Academy, ladies and gentlemen, pledging the allegiance to, I guess, the Federation.
Mm-hmm.
Oof. Yes,
yeah. So it's a great foreshadowing right here.
Incredible foreshadowing. So, of course, you've got Carmen that becomes that's going to become a pilot. Carl, who got admitted to games and theory. So it's I guess R&D.
Military intelligence.
Next time I'll salute you.
And Rico, infantry. Of course, infantry made me the man I am today.
He's missing his arms and his legs and maybe even his genitals. Who knows?
His genitals, why?
What's crazy is like if you wanted to enlist and you had no arms or legs or eyes, they would still let you enlist if you passed the test, and as long as they would find something for you to do. Like everyone's allowed to enlist.
They would enhance you, wouldn't they, with robotics, I guess.
But the young kids didn't have it. That was the gag, that all the old people who has gone through this are scarred.
Exactly.
That is the gag. That's
of course.
That's the wonderful undercurrent theme here. And then everyone ignores it. Only the audience. No one points it out. This is what's the difference between movie writing then and movie writing now, is that the fact that he had an arm, someone would go, "Oh, does your arm too bad about your arm, man." Like,
yeah.
That's how the
tail don't show.
That's
right. The adults are maimed or they're dead, and then
Right.
the kids replace them, and then more new kids replace the other kids who got promoted.
That's correct. I mean, that's really, one of the marvelous aspects of good movie writing is there's just stuff you don't explain.
Yeah.
I mean, he just says it once at the beginning when they first meet him. He's welcome to the meat grinder, or new meat for the grinder, or something like that. That's it.
New meat for the grinder. Yeah.
Too bad as a trans person you've lost your arm.
Yeah.
Is this film woke?
No.
But good woke. If you can get good woke.
Yeah.
Well, I believe that diversity and
diversity and
not
inclusion.
woke. It's not. It's just been co-opted by them.
This is very meritocracy, basically. Like in Starship, in Star Trek, it's never really explained like how the currency works. But one of the big forms of currency in the future in Star Trek is your your ranking, your job, your title, like the things you've done. You know, that's kind of like how people get wealthy in the future, you know, because like money's kind of irrelevant because everyone has like replicators.
They do have credits, but your reputation comes first for sure.
Right, exactly. And that's kind of what's going on in Starship Troopers. Like, you know, Rico wants to join obviously because of Carmen, but all these other people mostly want to join because they want to better themselves. They want something to do. They want, and also there's like rights and there's rights and other stuff and perks for joining, obviously, but it's going to be hard. And that's kind of what the whole armless, legless guy is like. I don't think anyone with no arms and legs at the games and theory office is telling Carl, like, welcome to the meat grinder. You know, they're probably going to be like, sit at your desk. Here's your computer. You know, here's your research.
I mean, obviously, Verhoeven had a point of view, which you could say is woke. But again, movie makers of that time were able to sort of hide their politics within the entertainment and made sure the entertainment was at the top of the list.
Yeah.
But you want a point of view when you're making a product. The problem right now is people are they're saying the subtext as opposed to writing dialogue over top of it. And I won't get into the theory of that. But this is why writing is so dreadfully horrible. Is
that's what's great. Is about this is that the agenda of the director is not evident in the film, and it's just a really fun movie.
Yeah, it's open to interpretation, and you can take multiple interpretations from it. It's so woke, it 180s all the way around back to base.
Yeah,
you know?
I would say so. I mean, you know, In the Heat of the Night you could say it was a woke movie, but I hate that term as it relates to stuff where people were able to intelligently execute, you know, a social plan, whereas now it's just clumsy.
Back then, nobody cared.
Right.
Well, they just wanted to make the movie had to entertain and make money.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah.
It just was. The diversity just existed. It was just there. I just reviewed Star Trek Nemesis. Don't really like it that much, but there's a scene where Data says, "Ladies and gentlemen, and transgender people," and it's just a mention. There's no actual meaning to it. It's just a passing thing.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, for me, I agree with Fiona. There is no good woke because woke entails that you're completely. I mean, to me, woke means that you're completely sacrificing storytelling and everything revolving storytelling just to push politics. And this, you can still have political subtext in your movies without it being woke. That is the fact of having a good movie, is that you're still putting storytelling at the forefront. That's what makes it non-woke. But if it is woke, that means that it's just
Star
politics
Trek,
at
the
the
original
forefront.
series was woke.
Woke.
Yeah,
it was just
Star
politics?
Trek, the original series. Yeah, just look
It
at
was
the bridge crew.
it was socially conscious.
No, the first,
just look at the bridge crew.
That's what it is. It's progressive is not woke.
No, I agree with you.
Oh yeah.
We're kind of just trying to find other definitions for woke.
Yeah.
Well, woke is usually discriminatory against a certain
It is.
Or
yeah.
Ooh, mother's a smoker.
So we go back to yeah, you can tell of the teeth. So he goes back to his mom, and of course he basically tells them that I've joined up, and that's pretty much it. It's my decision. That's all I've got to say. And he leaves, and his father basically disowns him at this point, which Carmen, which solidifies Carmen as a bitch to me, because he just says, "Oh, yeah, I'm wearing everything I own." Oh, I'm
That's
sorry.
sad.
Come on, man.
He has to like beg her to say "I love you." He's like, just say it once, please.
Which
I'm
does
about
come
to
back. It does come back again later, and he doesn't do it back. That's later on.
Yeah, it's true.
Right to Dizzy.
Right. It's very sad.
And of course, she says, "I love you." And another message from the Federal Network, ladies and gentlemen. These guys are everywhere. So.
Who wants to hold it? Citizen rule. People making a better tomorrow. A murderer was captured this morning and tried today. Sentence, death. Execution tonight at 6. All net, all channel. Every school kid knows that arachnids are dangerous.
Yes.
Oh, speaking of Highlander.
All right. Well, I think one of the reasons why I think there's some confusion here in the movie, because like I think when we when we start the movie a year in the future, we're at war, we're invading Clendathu, and then we go a year in the past. We're not really at war with the bugs at this part of the movie. We know of a quarantine zone because the Arachnids are dangerous, but they tell us later in this in that newsreel that these Mormon extremists went ahead and colonized some planet out in the Arachnid system, and they were brutally massacred. And a lot of people, they basically, this is the inciting incident. Like the Arachnids somehow declare total war on us because of that. And that's basically what incites the Arachnid asteroid attack, which, like I said, that's a big problem.
The guy who was getting executed was Edward Neumeier, the guy who wrote it.
Right.
Yes.
Love it. And I love the swift arm of the law in the future. It's like, tried today, murder was captured today and tried today, execution tonight.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa.
Oh yeah.
Channels.
And also his guilt, like his face, like he obviously has remorse. He's not happy he did it. And it's like, the public shaming aspect of it all.
And he didn't receive a capital punishment of just, the lashes. It's like,
Another thing I love is they censor the cow being murdered, but then they show you like massacred bodies after that, like right after that. That's so
the reason I didn't even put those in the in the clip is that they look incredibly realistic. I mean,
They're
if
amazing.
you've seen
yeah.
I mean, I grew up in like the live leak era, so I can I've seen my fair share of nasty stuff.
Well, this is one of those movies that you get Rob Bottin out of retirement to some capacity. It's pretty good.
It's really, really good. And then, of course, we finally meet Sergeant Zim. And man, I fucking love Sergeant Zim. I think that he's great. He's played by what's his name? Clancy Brown.
Clancy Brown.
No relation.
Highlander.
Krusty Krab.
The
Mr.
Kurgan.
Krabs. Sure,
Mr.
SpongeBob.
Krabs.
Apparently he didn't get paid for Highlander.
Oh,
really?
Wow.
Yeah.
That sucks. Oh man.
Pet Cemetery 2. That's where I know him from best.
So he's basically just drilling everyone like the fucking drill sergeant that he is, and we finally meet what's this guy's name?
Breckenridge.
Breckenridge, yes. And man, I love how Breckenridge, you can see the bone popping out basically, but he just says like, it hurts a bit. It's like, oh my god.
I'll be all right. I don't know this actor's name, but he always plays someone who's like trying to do something else, but is from a farm. And,
His name is Eric Brustcotter.
Yeah, like he's like typecast in this strange, like, I'm a farmer, but I don't want to be a farmer anymore, so I'm going to do something else. Like,
fun fact is this actor Breckenridge met the the attractive African American cadet. They met and married, and I think they're still married to this day on this movie.
Jane?
Yeah.
John,
Yes.
I guess.
Yeah, the one who inevitably shoots him.
Yes.
Destiny. Oh my god.
Yeah, and she leaves. Yeah, that was her last.
We'll
name.
get to that in a little bit.
But that's the other thing they tell you at the very beginning. If you don't like it here, go on Washout Lane. You could leave anytime you want. I'm gonna start snapping arms now and kicking you and strangling you, basically. And then because of medical future, like the idea is like, I can snap your arm, you'll be fine by a day or a week from now. It's crazy.
And that's the end of her political career.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's true. Well, how come she doesn't get the lashings? But I don't know. That's kind of weird, though. Yeah.
Well, because she just opted to. You mean the one who shoots him later?
Yes, Jano.
She just opts to leave. That's why.
Well, it's like Jill said. Like, you opted. It's already enough punishment that you can't do politics anymore. You can't vote. You can't do any of that stuff. So goodbye. And that's the other thing. Once you quit, you can never try again. It's like it's pretty harsh. It's pretty harsh.
That was an accident. Rico got his lashing for disobeying for messing with the helmet.
Yeah,
that's why he got his lashes.
So we finally get Dizzy. That's here, and of course, Copa, you're right. Dizzy is better than Carmen. And Dizzy just joins the squad, supposedly because they're the best, but we know for sure that she's joining because Rico is in there. And man, it's just another love triangle. I do love to see things like this in movies because, I mean, it's kind of how would I say this? It kind of reminds me of tragedies. The fact that that these guys, one doesn't like the other, but in the end they'll probably die just because of that person. And I think they both die. So I mean, he is pronounced clinically dead, Rico, and of course, spoiler alert, Diz as well. But yeah, so you die for your love, I guess. And
put up a poll. I'm sorry. You should put up a poll, Dizzy or
yeah.
Carmen. I have a feeling it's going to go one direction
It's gonna be
specifically. But we did say
one-sided,
we're going to want to
I'm
put up
pretty
more
sure.
polls. So
yeah, that's true. That's true.
And the thing that they had
Well, throw up.
heterosexual interests is something that they've completely eviscerated from many movies.
Right. I was gonna say, if you want to make it interesting, maybe throw Destiny on that poll too.
Okay.
Well, in the book, Dizzy was a man, according to the chat, and so they would just do that.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, in the book there is no co-ed stuff, which is something that I do love about Paul Verhoeven stuff. The co-ed showers, co-ed locker rooms. It's like grow up. It's like, yeah.
But it made it seem future-y.
Right. In the future, people are like somehow not so horny all the time, I guess, but they are. That's another thing that's great about this movie is sex appeal. That's severely lacking in modern movies.
In the future, people are not so obsessed with gender.
Right.
Correct. They've kind of solved some of that shit.
Well, also that whole naked shower scene, the director was also naked too. That's how I got everybody to do it.
Oh
I
wow.
heard about that.
Well, that was their stipulation. It's like we'll do it, but you have to be naked too. And he was just like
He got naked in 2 seconds.
I like to imagine that he had like NBA snap off pants just ready to go.
or Chippendale pants.
Like just the ones that have the snaps that you just pull and they just come right off. It was just like
Paul is like European, so we don't really care about nudity. It's just like we don't care about getting naked in front of people, man. You go to the beach here, a lot of women are just topless, half naked, completely. You do that in America, they'll probably be like, "Oh my god, indecent exposure on the beach." Definitely not the same. Way
Decent
simpler.
exposure on the beach. Why is she not using an assault rifle?
So Dizzy gets beat by Sergeant Zim, of course, and they go back to and we finally meet our new sort of gang of protagonists, as I would say, and so of course Dizzy talks to Rico about being there, and Rico of course doesn't want to be her friend because he thinks that he's there alone. He decided to go to the join the academy alone, basically, and she followed him because she loves him, and he knows that she won't admit it. Of course, we're back to the
He
training
treats her like a
sequence.
tag along kid sister.
Kind of, yeah. Yep, exactly. So we finally get, Sergeant Zim putting everyone into shape. Of course, Dizzy's dominating the course basically because everyone else is concentrated on just focusing on their egos. And
This is how you make squad leader.
Ace is out here and he sucks at knife throwing, ladies and gentlemen. Ace fucking sucks at knife throwing. And man, let me play the clip.
Who needs a knife in a nuke fight anyway? All you gotta do is push a button. Put your hand on that wall. The enemy cannot push a button if you disable his hand. Medic!
Gary Busey's son.
Of course.
Big Busey.
Jake Busey.
His teeth. It's like so obvious. I remember seeing him in The Frighteners and being like, "Oh my god, that's obviously related to what's his name." But yeah, that hand stab looks so amazing.
Well, you can see the prosthetics move when he first gets stabbed. Well, you know what? I'll keep in mind once he gets hit, you can see the prosthetic move a bit, and then after that they switch to a stationary prosthetic. I'll just replay the clip.
Who needs a knife in a nuke fight anyway? All you gotta do is push a button. Put your hand on that wall. The enemy cannot push a button if you disable his hand. Medic!
You see what I mean?
Yeah,
it moves a bit. That's just a little detail that's great. It kind of reminds me of The Thing when they were doing the jump scare. For the blood samples, they kept the prosthetic hand in the shot the entire time so that you would know, so that you would expect. Because of course, seeing a prosthetic to a real hand, there is kind of a shading difference because you can't get skin color that well, I would say. But man, it's pretty good. I love it.
It looks great, and it builds up Sergeant Zim's character as a really rough sergeant, breaking kids' arms, almost suffocating Dizzy in that.
Oh yeah, Of
Also,
course,
the fact that like your hand is even usable after that shows you how like awesome the medical technology is in the future. You know,
Well,
bandages. We need bandages.
Mm-hmm. I think it's Breckenridge. Yeah. So when he gets his arm cut in the cantina, I don't have a screen of this, but you could see there was kind of this blue ooze, weird cast that they gave him to heal up. So
yeah,
you can
it's
tell
like
that
a cast full of liquid.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, and this is kind of what the bunks are. I don't know. Yeah, it's very camaraderie, showing your butts, teasing Rico's girlfriend. You know, the Fed communication service, they're probably screening every single one of these messages that gets sent out.
Oh yeah, it's great, man. It's great, and yeah. So I do think maybe I skipped the shower scene. I have no screenshots of the shower scene. I tried to.
I'm out. I'm out. I come back for this shit.
I tried to censor it, but there was always like a raw ass just somewhere, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
We're dropping viewers, man. Oh my god, they're all leaving. What? Oh no.
You could have just substituted a scene from Porky's and just said it was Starship Troopers.
Oh, man. Well, yeah, ladies. Listen, chat. You don't get to see Dina Mayer naked, okay? We're on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. Come on.
Hey, speaking of chat, you have a super chat.
Oh, I didn't see that. Oh, thank you. So RRTNZ for $5 New Zealand. Thank you, man. Great panel and a great film. Ross's deadpan humor. Félix tes conneries amusant. Merci. Chattos, Savage Wit, Jill's charm, and Brown, the man who never bogs down.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mr. Penzo.
Yeah.
There's some good rhyming there.
RTD doesn't like me anymore because I made fun of his birds in the background.
Thank you, man. Thank you. And I hope you have a good morning, I guess. Yeah, of course. And yeah, so I do think the shower scene is one thing I like to talk about because, as we said before, it's kind of camaraderie and it's great. And you also learn a lot about who these people are. So for example, you've got Breckenridge, who tells us that he just doesn't want to be a farmer. Jaina, who, of course, you can see on screen over there. And she wants to get into politics. Shujumi, who's there for education because he needs to pay his school fees for Harvard, of course. And as we said before, they'll do that. And Ace is going career. Ace, Jake Busey, in case you guys didn't know. And you end up with Rico just getting called out by Dizzy for being there for Carmen. Well, of course, we know that she's there for Rico. So, yeah.
I do find it funny that they kind of imply that Harvard is just like it's come like down a bunch of pegs because it seems like that's the university that everyone's just going to. It's not just it's not like exclusive for like because they mentioned it earlier on that Rico is going to be going there and he clearly doesn't have the grades to go to like Harvard. So like apparently in this universe it's no longer a prestigious university. It's just like a regular place you just go.
Maybe
it's a regular place now, isn't it?
I mean, it still has a decently difficult way of getting in. So.
Harvard?
Yeah, Harvard, yeah.
Yeah, Harvard is the rated last for Freedom Index. All schools in the United States.
Yikes. Man. All right. Well, yeah, that's
where you put your $60,000 a year.
Nice, man. American upper education is crazy because, like in France, I pay about public university is about 170 euros a year for tuition fees, and mostly that's it. And if you want to go private, the max you'll probably pay is about 4.5K probably a year. That's it in euros, of course. And man, so 60K a year. That just blows my mind all the time. It's fucking crazy.
Well, see, I thought I was going to win here because I spent less than 60K on my entire education, but you spent way less.
Oh, yeah. The universities here are cheap. Even if you go private, private is always good, but private in general is kind of cheap, in comparison, of course, 3 to 5K max. That would be
Plus, you get a free baguette every day.
Yeah, basically. You'll probably have some baguettes in the canteen. So we finally get to see Carmen, and of course, more special effects while she's driving to I forget the name of the ship that she's on, if you guys remember it.
The Roger Young?
Roger.
Yes, the Roger Young.
With the extremely young Amy Smart there as well.
Wasn't Roger Young a famous American soldier?
I have no idea.
Or did I
have
imagine
no
that?
idea.
No, the
No
uniforms
idea.
are
It's
great.
named.
It's so well done.
It's named after somebody on a soldier or something.
United States Army infantrymen from Ohio in the World War II. So yes, you are correct.
Look at how well
Very cool.
the costumes are so well rendered, like so made.
I love how adorable the music is during the scene. Like it's a really fun sci-fi adventure movie.
If I may, that's the girl on the left is the girl from. Do you remember Crank?
Yes, yeah.
No.
It's Amy Smart.
Amy Smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's also in Butterfly Effect as well.
Yeah, great film.
Oh, that's where she's from. Butterfly Effect. Now I recognize her. Yep. All right. Yeah, and of course, this is Carmen going up to the ship, and guess who we meet again? My God, it's this dude. And fuck it. He also isn't there because of destiny. He's there because he learned about her. So, of course, Xander is the assistant instructor. And this is where I do have a problem with the film in terms of, how do I say this? Time. In a year, this does feel like kind of a lot that they go through, I would guess. I don't know if I've never been in the army, of course. So I don't know if this is how fast things would move up.
Well, they basically explain that she's essentially a prodigy. Most other people would not move up as quickly as she does. In fact, the rest of the pilots in that like transport ship are even like not nearly as good as her.
And the 200 years in the future, so they don't fuck about.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, and so so we've got her doing the undocking sequence, which of course great CGI, great models. Look at this, man.
Good. So fucking good.
Just looks.
I wouldn't like to fly with Carmen
So
either, man.
fucking
I don't want to fly with Carmen. She is so like loose cannon. Like I identify with those dudes in the backseat. Like, oh, not Ibanez again. No. I'll take the next one, please.
Wow.
It was only 3 meters away from the docking station. And Princess Fiona in the chat says, in the book, all the pilots are women.
Oh, nice. And there it is, the Star Drive.
It's been so long since I read the book. I don't even remember it.
So does that make Xander like less cool then, I guess?
I mean, he's already kind of a douche anyway, so.
No, I know. He's got this whole like, hey, how you doing? I just kind of made sure you'd work.
I do think he has a better redemption arc than Carmen.
Yes,
at least Xander is likable at the end, when he's near the end, because like, fuck yeah, I can respect this dude. Carmen is just like, yeah, I wish you died and Dizzy survived. That's probably
Carmen.
He's not a douche.
Well, Carmen is slightly insubordinate, and he puts up with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's trying to smash.
Port speed.
Go ahead, Mr. B.
Could you show the clip of the spaceship going out again, please?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, because we can talk over this clip. That's why I did it without audio.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at that, everybody. That is so good. How fucking good is that? How good is that?
The music too, which we can't hear, is so fun too. Ba-dum, ba-dum. It's like this little Basil Pomodoro's like march kind of.
Look at that.
I think the details, like the little smudges on the window, that's what sells it a lot as well, because it's little things that you would never think about. So, for example, probably in Star Wars, modern day Star Wars, you probably never see smudge on a window or something like that. But it's just it shouldn't be perfect. If it's perfect, then there is a problem. It's not realistic if it's perfect. And
in modern day Star Trek, you'd at least get the grease stains from Captain Pike's barbecue all over the fucking window.
God.
Hey, come in. Forget about going after spaceships or aliens. You lesbians and trans people, come into my quarters here, and we're just gonna have a barbecue, because that's what starshipping is all about.
Paul, did you finish season 2 of Strange New Worlds?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a shame. Captain Sisko was able to be a cook without that being a thing. Without that over, he was captain first.
Yeah, and his office, his quarters did not look like a condo.
Yeah, he didn't have a.
We're changing. Sorry, I've taken people off course here.
He didn't have a fireplace.
No, didn't have a fireplace. Oh,
I'm not a Star Trek person, so I've never seen. I've seen maybe one episode in my entire life, and that was on TV when I was a kid. But never delved into it. So
no, I'm a Star Trek, not a nerd, but not certainly not like Robert Myers Burnett, but
Star Trek's my number one.
I do like my Star
And
Trek.
James Bond.
It's a daunting task to get into, especially considering what there is, you know.
Just stick to the 735 original Star Trek made 2005 and before. You'll be good to go.
700 episodes.
Even
my God. All right. Well,
700. Well, no, 725 episodes and 10 movies.
Oh well. You know, I'll try and watch it before I die.
Just not Voyager.
What?
I agree. I mean, Voyager's
like
kind
Voyager.
of a weak. So I like it, but it's definitely the weakest of the next gen.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like
not
your,
counting this
your
new
mother
stuff,
yelling
obviously.
at you every single day.
Oh, I like that.
All right. So
Anyway, let's leave. I've taken everybody off course here.
No, don't worry, man. And so yeah, so we finally get Rico, and after their capture the flag session with the kind of laser tag, I guess, with the help of Dizzy, he gets promoted to promoted to squad leader, of course. And yeah, they want to see what he can do. And, at that point, him and Dizzy, are friends.
If I
Yeah, go ahead,
may,
Mr. B. Yeah.
obviously they've got laser technology for the rifles. Why do they use bullets?
Yeah, for the live exercise. Yeah, I
This was one of the things I thought. I know the producers intentionally used bullets.
Mhm.
A good
But
question, actually.
The only thing I can think of is the bugs just are impervious to laser. So
Yeah.
the only way
Sure.
to break the armor was bullets. So I was thinking it was a really big plot hole, but I can see now that it's probably why they did it.
So in space, which is what no one talks about in most science fiction TV shows and movies, the most deadliest weapon is in fact a projectile weapon, not lasers. It can rip through pretty much anything in 0G, although they're not in 0G here.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe it's just budgeting. Also, you know, just you have to think logistically when you're writing the script. Maybe it's just like, yeah, we can't have lasers, laser effects everywhere. Plus, gun effects, just bullets would be way cooler.
Plus you run out of ammunition, which
Yeah,
adds
yes,
that
which is
layer of peril.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, your batteries can die in your laser gun.
Yeah, kind of like Edge of Tomorrow. Their mech suits, they can die. They need battery packs, which added a layer of intensity to the movie as well. But so at this point, Rico and Dizzy, you know, they make up. They're friends, and of course, Rico gets a message from Carmen, who breaks up with him because she wants to go career. Which again, Carmen, I fucking hate you, man.
That's what she says, but she's doing it for Xander.
Oh yeah, we all know that she's doing it for Xander.
And she sent him a message on a GameCube disc, which I fucking love.
In
They
the
just made the
deleted
CDs for her.
in the deleted scenes, she is, but not in this one. Because
Well,
they
they
get it
basically-
on, don't they? In the deleted scenes.
Suppose I don't know because I
Yeah,
only
they
watched
get it
the
on.
theatrical
The
cut.
scenes where they've bedded,
Oh, okay.
taking out the final movie.
And so I mean, weirdly enough, they've set up Ace as kind of his rival, but here Ace is the one that's here to comfort him. Of course, what does he say? He says, "Funny how they always want to be your friends after they rip your guts out." It's like, yep,
Yeah.
yep.
I got such a huge laugh in the theater.
It's fucking understandable, man. It would bring a tear to my eye.
Also, it's so funny how everyone like sees his girlfriend for the first time. They're like, "Woo, damn, dude, that's your girlfriend!" And then she
You
like breaks
don't
up with him in the
deserve
video, and they all
that.
kind of have to like walk away, like, "Damn, sorry, bro." It's so sad and awkward.
I mean,
Shame.
I think that Denise Richards would kind of be like with Casper Van Dien because look at his face, man. We said it before. This dude is
Yeah, they
fucking
act.
both of
It's
them
funny 'cause
chiseled.
they act like he's like this schlub, and he's not. Like he just
Yeah, all the girls are like their eyes are perking up, like, "Oh, you're not
Mhm.
dating what's her face anymore, Mr. Rico." But
Oh,
also, yeah, him and Carmen both have kind of very like I said, like they look like dolls.
Yeah.
They look like
They don't look real. They just look like fucking dolls, man. And so after the breakup, this is where we get the live fire exercise, which I think just brings up a lot of problems for me because I don't think that's the proper place to do it. Number one, you can see that there like people around. I guess they can catch stray bullets as well. A ricochet, you can catch a ricochet as well. I don't know.
Don't
it
be a
just seems...
pussy.
Ricochets are nothing.
Nothing.
It's a flesh wound.
It's flesh wound.
But that's
yeah, I
what
was about to
the
say.
helmet was there for, because it's supposed to protect you from that. Even though I can't see how it could. If you got a bullet in the face, you've had it.
Yeah, the bullet. Yeah, you've got a
Helmet technology is light years ahead in the future.
Oh no, I got an arrow in my knee.
Oh
yeah.
Okay, what's that from, guys?
Oh
no, I got
Skyrim.
When nature...
Skyrim.
There you
Jill, I love you. Look at that. Killer.
Oh man, and yeah, so of course it's what's his name? It's Breckenridge because he's what is he? He's big and dumb. That's why.
Yeah.
He's a farm boy.
Yep, it's a farm boy through and through. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, blink and you'll miss it. Headshot of the century. Now that was great.
Not just that.
Great.
Now, obviously, the big buckets of blood flying out of the Robotine face, but also another thing that I love, and they do it a lot of times in the movie, is these like whip zooms that are like hyper fast, like flex zooms that go in.
The snap zoom.
Yeah, snap zoom. Thank you. They do it
Really
a few
good
times.
editing.
They do it a few times in this movie, and every time it's like, yes.
Oh yeah, man. As I said before, man, someone who grew up in the live leak era, I'll say this shit is very fucking realistic to the point where I even hesitate to clip it out for YouTube without like blurring or anything. But yeah, fuck it, man.
And what's great about Verhoeven was that he put in violent consequences in his movies.
Oh
And
yeah,
so he just really knew what he was doing.
does he have Well, Verhoeven is still alive, right?
Yeah, he's like
Yeah.
85 years old or something.
Well,
like
yeah.
that.
I think it was because of that they didn't go with the power armor that was in the books. That would have given them. He thought it would be way too overpowered for them to have all that.
Paul Verhoeven has seen, because it obviously was a war child in Holland. He's seen people who were shot in the street during World War II.
Okay, that explains it. Yep, that explains it. Well,
So the violent stuff is just nothing to him because he's seen it all in real life when he was a kid.
Yeah. Man, so well, you know what? Fuck it, let's show the headshot again.
I was gonna ask for you to do that. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Just absolutely
brilliant.
And you know the guys and women who set up that practical were just so enjoying hitting the button. Right. You know what I mean? This is the gear porn side of things. This is, you knew the special effects guys were so proud of this moment, and to have it on the screen and look so good. There's pride in those moments of filmmaking.
It'd be CGI now.
You know, after that camera stopped rolling and that little puppet fell over and they stopped, it was like handshakes and applause all around. It was like, that looked awesome. Hell yeah, dude.
Absolutely. And that's my point. They were cheering for each group and division that was responsible for some aspect of the show. I've been on movie and TV sets where a very complicated set of occurrences have to be set up and executed, and only once, and you've got 5 cameras running at the same time, and then they nail it, and the director calls cut, and everyone just cheers. No one cheers, especially waiting for someone to add some effect to the camaraderie on a set when you're doing practicals is just great.
Oh man, yeah, it just and that's it also ends up making a timeless product, because CGI sometimes, I mean, someone who watches a lot of action movie, a lot of horror, you can tell that when they do CGI blood, oh my god, shit looks fucking awful.
Right.
Oh yeah.
I mean, look at The Fly. Look at Cronenberg's The Fly. I mean, that was the grossest thing in the world.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and even Scanners, the head explosion from Scanners, that's fully practical. Fucking great. They redid it again in The Sadness 2021. Don't know if you guys have seen that movie. There is a head explosion tribute to Scanners in that one, and fully practical, fucking fantastic.
The original Thing, all practical, and then the Thing prequel
Oh,
was all
Nothing
practical.
again.
Was all practical. Then the studio goes, nah, make it CGI.
CGI. Yep. It's fucking bullshit. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Before we move on, just let's appreciate it one more time.
It's so, I mean, from an in-universe perspective, it actually is pretty ridiculous that they have these. So they have these suits that when you get tagged with these lasers, it basically starts making you freak out, like it's
Tasing
electrocuting you. It's tasing you. You'd think that they wouldn't want that when people are using, because like that could have happened. Yeah. Like, even if his helmet, go back, do it one more time. It wouldn't have mattered if his helmet was on. It went through his eye.
He got shot through
That's
the
what I
face.
said.
Yeah,
I said that 5
but
minutes ago.
if they weren't fiddling with his
Oh, I
helmet,
missed
he
that. I'm
probably
sorry,
would have
Brownie.
been doing something else.
Yeah.
But also
like-
the other thing is, I don't know. When we close out, can you just like loop that like for like 10 or 6 times as a closer?
It
That'd
was
be
just a
great.
fantastic practical effects, really good editing, great sound effects, just so good.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And yeah, there he is. Look at Hank from Breaking Bad, ladies and gentlemen. Hank. That's
I
where
think
I
he
know
was
him
in his
from.
late 20s.
Dean Norris.
No
right?
way he was in his
Yep.
late 20s in this movie.
Yeah,
Yes.
I looked.
Yes.
He just
Yes.
looked old his whole life.
Oh my god.
He's just so filled with testosterone, you know. He just ages like a man.
Yeah.
So you've got Jana at the back over there who's officially leaving while Rico is of course getting to know what his
Reprimanded.
punishment is. Yeah, getting reprimanded. Thank you, Dark Hour. What they do is they put him in administrative punishment because they've already lost 2 recruits. That's what Hank says. Well, I call him Hank. It's not his name in the movie, of course. There it is. Capital punishment, ladies and gentlemen. Just getting fucking lashed. How many is it? 10, right?
10 lashes, yeah.
10 lashes, man. Jesus. I don't know, man. It's pretty hardcore though, because they're like actual fucking slavery era lashes.
And I think it's implied that when you get this, because they have this technology that can heal you pretty much instantaneously. It's pretty much implied that they don't do that for. That you're just gonna have to hold on. You're just gonna have to deal with these.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Bite on this, son. Trust me, I know.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So there it is. What is it? The canon event basically of this. Fucking Carmen saying that she wants to change course because it's an optimal course, and of course we encounter the huge meteor.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
of course. Yeah.
And I know
It
people
doesn't-
talk about how like go ahead, Brown. Sorry.
Well, I was just going to say this is a big plot hole for me. Surely the asteroid would be traveling at hyperspace speed.
Yeah.
If that's
It
the
would
one
still
that
take
hit
months or
Buenos
years
Aires.
to get there.
That is
Decades,
true.
maybe?
Now, you do make a
Like
point,
I
yeah.
said, all you need is like a wormhole type expository dialogue. Like, I don't know, they use some kind of tunnel because there's no way these asteroids would be coming around. Because I understand people talk about how like, oh, this movie's a lie. The asteroid Buenos Aires was an inside job, you know?
Yeah.
And this idea that I don't know, that could be possible, but you'd have to assume the whole movie is like what's the word? Like we're using a deceitful
Propaganda?
narrator.
Disbelief.
Yeah.
It would have
But,
been better if it was, say, a colony.
Right. Well, we
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
encounter. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, totally. But we encounter this meteor. We see this meteor from the bug quarantine zone headed to Earth. So we know that that is what happens. And also we see when Rico's talking to his parents later, like we see Buenos Aires get destroyed. So
What
could have-
happened to planetary defenses as well? Did they not?
Yeah,
Well,
I
they
don't
weren't
think
up
we had 'em
yet.
at the
This is
time.
still.
Yeah.
This is that you have to remember when they say the planetary defenses. That's later. That's after this.
Well, no,
event.
they said they were better than ever.
but that
Yeah,
was
yeah,
a
that was-
year
but
in the
that
They
was-
future.
blew one up in the
But that was
begin-
but Brownie. That's then they say 1 year prior to that.
That's
So
kind of
this
what I
is-
said
yeah,
earlier.
yeah.
Was like we are not at war with the bugs until the meteor, the first
Yeah.
Buenos Aires attack. We just kind of treat the arachnid zone as like a no-go zone.
Yeah.
Because the
Yeah.
arachnids are that dangerous.
So
They're
there
just
is-
extremely territorial.
There was actually a built-in way to like, because one of the reasons why they choose Buenos Aires in the story. Whether you think of it as the inside job or not, one of the reasons, narratively speaking, it is to spark Rico. But they could have easily, like what you're saying, because they were going to go on vacation on this colony off wherever
Zegama Beach.
Yeah, wherever that was. That could have been the one that got blown up, and
Sure.
it would have made more sense.
Question.
Yep.
Are the humans the bad guys in this film?
I don't think so.
It's hard to tell.
I think they are.
Maybe the
Because
government.
they were the, they were the
I'm
ones
the odd man
who
out usually in
invaded
that theory.
the Arachnid homeworld.
It really
Yeah.
is hard to tell because the only hint we get is this little broadcast that says that, well, maybe if we live and let live and stop invading their territory, everything would be fine.
Right.
Yes.
But we
I
never
love that
actually-
broadcast. I love it so much.
The thing is, the Arachnids, when the Mormon extremists colonize the antenna out in the Clendathu zone, they are brutally, mercilessly killed. They are not warned. They are not told to leave. They are not, given any kind of ulterior. They are literally just brutally massacred, every single one of them, while they're eating. And then their next step is to start hurling asteroids at us somehow and intentionally. And it's one of these things where, like, we want to communicate with the bugs so we can learn what the hell they want, because all we can tell is they want us to die. So it's one of these things where we have to go to war with bugs because, like I said, the first Buenos Aires attack, like, I forget how many millions of people are killed, but we cannot let that happen.
8 million. 8 million.
Yeah,
I
so
think
it's
it is.
like, it's one of these
Well-
things where they literally, for some reason, are representing an existential threat to us, and we have to figure out why.
They
Because we
absolutely
invaded
are.
them.
They absolutely are attacking because we invaded them, and there is no point in the movie where they say we want to communicate with the bugs and see if they'll
It's
talk to
gone
us.
past that.
Yeah, there is.
They
Because
do.
that's one of the huge goals of, like, the psychics is to, like, learn what the bugs want. We want to understand what they're thinking, because basically when you go
Yes.
to war, the difference between war and genocide, war is like you're trying to convince someone to do something by force, whereas in genocide, the Arachnids, like, are committing genocide on us. They want us to die. That's basically all we can tell they want from us.
But the humans say the same thing. Total annihilation.
True.
The only good bug is
True.
the dead bug. And
Yeah.
sure, the psychics do go after the brain bug, but not to talk nicely to it. They
No.
they they
True.
jam things into her. Or
I think they're
I thought that the ultimate goal was the military to extract bug knowledge to then go on to do bigger destruction of other things.
Yeah.
That's possible. I think, I understand. Because, like, the idea is, what's the end goal? Are we trying to just cohabitate with the bugs? Are we trying to literally take over their worlds? Or, like, are just random Mormons who just settle on one planet trigger an interstellar war?
I would
there's-
say my feeling was when I first saw it, it was they are not like us
Of course.
scenario. So we're just going to wipe them all out. We have
kill
no-
everything that
I'm-
doesn't have two legs.
Correct.
I'm sure that Verhoeven
Basically.
said something along those lines in an interview. That's why I picked up on it.
Yeah.
I'm sure he said that.
From
The
Buenos
humans
Aires.
are the bad guys.
So, in human terms, you can have the difference between Bulgarians and Hungarians, and they're just going to want to wipe each other out, right? I mean,
Yeah.
humans are stupid that way, that it doesn't really require that big a difference.
Yeah.
And I won't get into religious differences here on the channel, but to me, the conceit of the movie was the bugs were so different that it kind of gave us, the viewing audience, permission to enjoy their complete destruction.
Oh, true.
Which was kind of a nasty thing for us to wish for.
Well,
think that
the
one of the
reason why we
That's
have
the
it's
human
one of these
way.
things. Yeah, they kind of want us completely destroyed, so we kind of have to. It's like we can't occupy the same space, and the idea
Correct.
is, like, we already were kind of respecting some kind of peace treaty with the bugs by having this quarantine zone in the first place, and it wasn't really like, it's kind of just like, hey, don't recommend anyone going there because it's dangerous. The arachnids will kill you on sight. And people disregarded that, according to this movie. Now, obviously, this movie could just be a big lie. That is.
I thought that was a lie.
propaganda.
I
True.
thought that was a lie. I thought they were
I-
setting up a fake, Yelp score for the resort.
True. and that's the popular theory. I'm on the boat that like I think this because one of the common symptoms of fascism is like propaganda, where like lying in the news. Everything we've seen in these propaganda reels, quote unquote, they seem to be true from what we can tell in the movie. Now, obviously, like I said, this whole movie could just be one big lie, and that could be the case. But if you take everything for what you're seeing, the propaganda, the news in the future is so transparent that they're literally doing like live coverage of ground invasions. So it's hard. It's one of these things where like, yeah, it's fascist, but then when you really analyze it, it's like I'm trying to find the oppression here. I'm really trying to find
in the humans. This is from the perspective of the humans, and the humans are the good guys. So it's going to be good propaganda.
That's true.
Yeah.
It would
Yeah,
be
like I said, this
propaganda.
could just be expertly made propaganda reel. That's like totally like, what am I looking for the word when it's like a lying narrator? What is that called again?
Unreliable narrator.
Unreliable narration. This could be unreliable narration. Thank you.
Oh yeah,
I've been looking for that word for the past like 45 minutes in my head.
My God,
The bugs are relentless.
The bugs are. Oh, and just before continuing on, this is where Carmen and Xander are considered to becoming official crew of the ship. So yeah. And then of course I think it gets solidified because of the fact that they managed to dodge out, and they want to send in the communications, but they can't because I guess it's coincidentally the comms section of the ship that got swiped off by the meteor, of course.
Yeah, the whole bridge.
Yeah, basically. I hope no one was in there.
Oh, no, it wasn't the bridge.
Probably.
It was
Oh wait, not the bridge, right?
No,
it
because
was
they're in the
communication
bridge.
station.
Yeah, the
Right.
communication tower. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully there wasn't a dude. in there
If the
from
bridge got
maintenance.
swiped off, then they wouldn't even be able to fly.
Right. Carmen would be dead.
We've got some super chats before moving on. Calling people for £5. Pilot cadet Amy Smart is best girl. I use money, so I am right.
He is correct. Yes.
He used real money, he said.
Mhm.
Real money.
Yep. Thank you, common people. And I'd give her one for sure. 100%.
Oh, yeah, definitely one.
The blue collar loser for $5. Careful, guys. You have Enzo, and he'll talk about this goddamn movie for 7 hours if you let him. The man is mad, I tell you. Mad. Also, loved Beekeeper. Oh,
I actually had to just
pull.
pull down my video. I got a message that there was like zoom in problems with the video, so I actually have to re-release that later.
Oh.
It happens. It happens.
Yeah,
It was only up for like 45 minutes. It's not a big deal.
Thank you, common people, and thank you, blue collar loser, man. I really appreciate it.
Thanks,
and so,
Blue.
so moving on. So we finally get Rico. I guess Rico Senior. Maybe I guess that's what it would be called.
I don't think they ever give a name.
Rico's Spanish for rich, so they're rich parents.
This would have been better if they were on vacation at Zagama Beach and he got
True.
wiped out.
Yeah,
that
that's
would
what I
have
was
made
saying.
much more sense to the plot.
Totally. I think one of the reasons, originally in the book, it's Toronto that they live in, and Buenos Aires gets destroyed. But Paul Verhoeven set it to Buenos Aires, and I think that's another Yahtzee joke right there. That like all these like
in
All the
Germany,
Nazis went
in
to,
Argentina.
they're all
yeah.
living in
after the war,
Buenos
yes.
Aires in South America. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's
Did
funny.
yeah.
we did not see that coming.
There's another surprise in the book where the dad actually joins the service and shows up alive later. So
Right.
Rico thought his dad was dead the whole time, which
I forgot all about
could have
that.
been cool in the movie.
I mean, it gets dark. He thinks it's rain. I don't know how fucking fast rain rolls in Buenos Aires though, because
He's basically apologizing, saying how stupid he is, and he's coming home, and he's like, "I'm sorry, Mom and Dad," and they're like, "Don't worry."
yeah,
And it's like, "Rain?"
because of the lashings. Yeah, it's like, yeah, what is this rain? It's like, no, it's is it the
If,
sea? Yeah, go ahead, Mr. B.
Yeah, if an asteroid hit a meteorite
Meteorite, yes.
Meteorite.
hit the Earth of that size, I think it'd have wiped the planet out. But there you go. That's
Oh
true.
yeah, there would definitely at minimum.
Should have been Zagama Beach.
Yeah,
Mhm.
if it's
Yeah,
big enough to
totally.
take out an entire city in one shot, it's big
More
enough
than a
to-
city.
Yeah, or like, well,
Because like I
Buenos
said, my
Aires is
biggest,
a city,
the
but-
biggest plot hole for me is the meteor. So like, yeah, like you said, Brown, if it's Zagama Beach, that's just like that solves the hugest plot hole
Yeah.
in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they get wiped out, and of course, it's war. We're going to war.
It's so
everyone's
quickly
just
too,
going
as he's
ahead.
walking out. He just got off the phone with his mom and dad, and how quickly like everyone's like, "Oh my god."
Yeah, how quickly people are on the scene actually. I mean, in terms of journalists on the scene in Buenos Aires, because you do get images from there of this.
Yeah,
Like,
that supports the theory that it was an inside job, because it feels as though they're immediately covering it in such a way and have exact numbers of deaths and stuff that are you wouldn't even be able to get people there quick enough for this. It would be chaos. So that's one of the theory. A lot of people who support the theory that it's a inside job point to the fact that it's so quick that they figure this stuff out. Now, you could argue that it's because it's a movie and they need to be efficient with their time, but
yeah, but it's the fact of like everything surrounding the movie as well. It just does, kind of points to that. And the fact that you have the Federal Network, they've changed their font, they've put war and all that stuff, it's on fire. Exactly. Well, I guess we've got another message from the Federal Network, ladies and gentlemen.
The only good bug is a dead bug.
Sky Marshal Deans announces plans for an offensive against Clandestine.
Your basic arachnid warrior isn't too smart. Aim for the nerve stem and put it down for good.
Everyone's doing their part. Are you? The war effort needs your effort. At work, at home, in your community.
Yeah.
Propaganda at its best. Yeah.
A bit much.
Everybody was set up.
Those little cockroaches did nothing. All right. Those little cockroaches were innocent.
John Davidson, the producer, was the old geezer.
Oh, okay.
Old geezer.
I love the fact that it's obviously very clear that these people were put on the ground to say these things, because there's no way that that's the first thought that's going through your head if you just had your entire city destroyed. You're not just yes, a good bug is a dead. Only good bug is a dead bug. It would be send food, please. I'm starving.
Help me.
Well, technically, he saw his dead dog.
Uninspired, could you possibly read Princess Fiona's comment, please?
Well, it was literally just about to.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah, Princess Fiona, even if the asteroid was going light speed, it would take over 100,000 years to reach Earth, just informs their diagram. Yep. So.
Sagama Beach.
Yep, Sagama Beach.
That's right. You're someone who explains the joke to kill it.
Sorry.
And so, yeah, man, Federal Network, especially considering, what do they say at the beginning? It's first comes sorrow. Is that what it is?
Then comes anger.
Yes, then comes anger. Yeah, exactly. And it's yep. And then he sees his dog. Well, I don't think he really cares about his family, because first he picks up a picture of his family. And after that, he sees the dog all mangled up, and that's when he says
it's a different person.
Dead bug. Are you sure?
Yeah, it's multiple people dealing with multiple tragedies, I think, is what's going on.
Now there's just one person who lives in this whole city.
It's definitely it definitely has this vibe hey, can you turn around the camera and say this line? The only good bug is a dead bug. While you look at your dead dog.
It's yep, propaganda. This is pure propaganda, which of course, fuels the fire of, Buenos Aires was an inside job. And so, everyone's going to war now, and now finally meet up again.
One thing that you brushed over is this is the only part of this is the only government corruption I think I see in the entire film, where Rico tries to re-enlist. He's like, hey, I don't want to quit anymore. And they're like, sorry, it's too late. It's illegal. You signed your form. He's like, my family, they were in Buenos Aires. So that the only corruption you see in the movie is where they disregard that. But like I said, it's not like he bribes them or anything. It's because they feel sympathetic for him. And that to me was a nice little touch, because it's you don't. One of the big parts is we get to later, I guess we'll save it for later. But yeah, there's not a whole lot of government overstepping their bounds and pushing their boot on the citizens, and
in terms of military, at least.
And one of the things is about I'm not seeing a whole lot of you see that more in some of the computer animated sequels, the government, they're lying, they're doing shady stuff, so when you take that into account, sure, but this movie, it's hardly any of that.
It's possible that we just don't see it, since we really just do see the propaganda and the military complex and what they want you to see.
Yeah,
I love this movie. It's like we could debate about it for hours, you know.
And just to mention again the scene in which you were talking about Stupenzo, we do get the setup that Sergeant Zim wants to go into combat, but he needs to be demoted to private to be able to be on the field.
Which doesn't make any sense, actually, because there's lieutenants literally in the field. So it doesn't. It's because he has a job. It's because he has a specific job. So he essentially has to give up his job title. The way they word it is not really well done.
He's needed there at the training center, you know.
Yeah. Well, I would imagine, especially since war is literally on the fucking brink, you would want this. I mean, you'd want someone in which you know, you have complete confidence to run the training center to boot everyone into shape.
For all the Futurama fans out there,
Lord Toxic just summed it up. Lord Toxic just summed it up. Zim rips up the papers, the discharge papers, so he could also get busted down to private. So 2 birds, 1 stone, maybe. Oh, just like real Roger Young.
Maybe
interesting.
Maybe, but you'd have to take into the fact that Hank basically turns around and says he doesn't.
Yeah,
see
like
shit.
who would even really know at that point?
Yeah.
Like,
He definitely gives like the nod of approval, like do it.
Yeah, and so we finally get to see you know, the Carmen and of course Rico, you know, see each other again after the breakup, of course, which you can tell that now it's how would I say, a social status divide. Yeah, and of course. Fight breaks out. Looks like a fucking Renaissance painting with Xander and Rico fighting. And what does he say? He disregards rank, of course.
Yeah, rank's not a problem here, guys.
Rank is not a problem.
You listen up. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. At least he decides
fighting
to
over
fight.
him too.
Yeah, and so it kind of ends with everyone realizing that we can't fuck with these people because they're on a higher rank than us, and we just don't mix. That's how it is now. And
how cool is it that Mazzy Star is still going to be getting airplay in 150 years in the future? With this song "Fade Into You," you know.
I mean, David Bowie also, he gets covered.
Yeah,
but that's pretty much it. But he's still there.
I wouldn't be surprised if David Bowie is still being jammed 150 years in the future.
Oh, I'm 100% sure that. If we're still here 100 years in the future, David Bowie for sure. Of course, they all decide to get their tattoos. So,
should we all get matching Death from Above tattoos?
Yeah, sure.
Guys?
Why not?
Let's do it.
Not? Yeah.
Right.
No, only if somebody pours whiskey directly on it after I'm done, please.
Yeah, that'd be funny if Rico's had like a big like line through his, because like he got the whiskey pouring on him and he stood up real quick. Ow! Yeah. So his has got like a big old like scratch mark through it.
There they are, the crew. The remaining crew. They're probably going to get wiped out in just a second, ladies and gentlemen.
And that's the whole point, is that the propaganda got everybody excited about going to war, and then they went there and then saw how horrific it was, and they came back either dead or broken.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a lot of parallels with the opening like battle, invasion, whatever you want to call it, with what happens in Edge of Tomorrow, where it's like you go in like super unprepared, not realizing what the actual like problem is going to be. It's a lot
like
of parallels
Aliens.
there.
It's like Aliens. We think the bugs are stupid. That's another thing. The bugs are not stupid. They are very intelligent. They just have they have a hive intelligence, but it's not like they're stupid.
Right.
Individually, they're stupid.
Right.
Sorry.
And they eat different breakfasts.
Yeah.
So I guess we're finally all shipping off to war, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, great special effects, great ship designs. Just looking at this shot already, it's fucking fantastic. The scope, and this even more so. You can just fucking appreciate.
Look at that.
It's incredible.
Fucking, it's just so good.
It's really, really good.
It's almost like what Cameron would have made if he had the budget.
Look at that. The
just
spewing bugs.
Well, James Cameron was offered this movie, but he opted to do the Titanic instead.
Yeah,
thank God.
Aliens was kind of already like heavily based off of this book anyway.
So good.
Yeah,
I do love how
great.
I do love how they're like they just think it's random lights in the sky, not realizing that they're
that's what they were told it was.
Yeah,
underestimating the bugs from the very beginning. Like they're just big dumb bugs, right?
Yep, that's it. Wrong.
Like Rue McClanahan said at the beginning, like their evolution stretches over millions of years. They are way more advanced than us, and they're
someone
evolved.
made a mistake.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone made a big damn
gosh darn
mistake.
Yeah, they made a mistake that there could be actual flames in space.
Yeah,
That's
totally.
true.
And sound.
So that's actually one of my problems. Not the flames in space part. Thanks for pointing that out, Paul. But,
Sound.
And the sound. But actually, so that scene, and then later on, you kind of almost get the exact same scene again.
True.
Which is also kind of a variation on a scene that we already had with the asteroid. Those three sequences are super repetitive to me, and I get annoyed.
I think it just shows you like kind of the monotonous, like you're going to start doing this a lot, dropping on the planet and wiping it clean. And but specifically this shot, there's one shot right before this where the ship lands. Like I remember being like 12 years old and being like, how did they do that? How the hell did they do that?
Well, I mean, even today.
I was 29 years old, and I thought, fucking hell, that's amazing.
Yeah, great stuff.
It's incredible. I mean, look at the amount of extras over here. I mean, probably if you did this today, you'd get the first plate, I would say, would be regular people, I guess, until the middle of the ships. Then the rest in the back would probably be CG doubles that are just there to populate the area. But it's just great having to see all these people because, they kick up dust. They just interact with real objects that are there, which is fucking fantastic. Just adds to the realism. Today,
humans as particle effects. I was at the Houdini studios when they were inventing Houdini software.
Ooh, nice.
There was a lot of that going on in Toronto, and in Montreal you had Softimage. And so it was just fantastic to see it. But Houdini could, I think Houdini did the hordes in Lord of the Rings. And
I think so.
And really, they turned people into particle effects. That's actually part of the software. Really neat, amazing stuff. But practical, still has its place.
Yeah, practical has the edge. That's it. I mean, just look at what's it called, Napoleon of today in comparison to Waterloo of 1970, where they had all the extras, they had the horses, they had the designs made for the clothes. Everything was mass produced with I don't know how many. I think it was 15,000 extras in total or something like that for Waterloo 1970. Then you look at the CG doubles that you have in Napoleon of 2023, and it's clearly not the same at all. It doesn't have that same intensity. And yeah.
Well,
so, of course,
going back even further, I saw the silent version of Abel Gantz's Napoleon, where they had thousands of people, and in the rain. So that was a 1927 film with Coppola's orchestra playing. 3-panel movie. Like, think of 3 35mm screens butted side by side, 3 of them.
Jesus, I'll have to check that one out.
It was like a one-time only experience. It was a 3-4 hour movie, just hand colored,
an actual historical epic.
It was
that lives up to the name.
Unbelievable movie. So yeah, look up Abel Gantz, Abel Gantz Napoleon.
I'll check that one out for sure.
And when I saw it, I'm sitting in the theater we were in, and I went, oh, that's where that movie cliche came from. Oh, that's where that camera move came from. Holy crap. That's where that came from.
No, you've really piqued my interest for this movie now. I'll probably watch it after the stream.
Well, I don't know where it would be digitally, but it wouldn't quite be as spectacular. But yeah, it's worth watching.
Oh yeah, and of course, we finally get to see the I guess the light. Do these have a specific name? These bugs? I forgot.
They're basically huge
Gordon.
dung beetles.
They're called Gordon.
So these aren't the tank bugs. These are the
plasma bugs.
I call them the plasma bugs. Yeah,
plasma bugs.
Plasma.
Yeah, they're kind of like the big slow walkers in Star Wars that accompanied the fast moving tiny bugs.
Yeah.
Let's see what the actual name is, if that exists.
Probably some weird name.
You get your ships all destroyed and a bunch of your friends die, and you find out it's a bunch of bug turds that are killing your friends. It's like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god! And yeah, this is where we get to see just how dangerous these damn things are. Just one of them is like,
they are literally called plasma bugs. Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah.
The design of the bugs is just fucking fantastic. I do think that it's not the fact that they're
Filtered.
inherently sharp. I just think that they clamp down with so much force that it cuts you in half.
Yeah,
I think
they're
it's a
sharp.
force thing. Well,
And
I
they
don't
had
think
a
they're
few
sharp.
puppetry bugs in there, right?
Yeah.
That
Yeah, for
that really
close-ups.
added to the realism.
I do
Yeah.
have one.
There's a lot of
in
scenes
the
where it
behind
looks
the
like a
scenes stuff.
puppet, and then I'm sorry. There's like a lot of scenes where it looks like a puppet, and then it moves, and you're like, oh wait, no, it's CG. Oh damn. Oh my god.
Yeah, there was. I think there was like part of the legs of the creature on like a really long boom arm with these two men controlling it. For the,
I love the colors
plastic and
too.
stuff.
It's like very like danger markings. Like this is a dangerous bug.
Oh yeah. And, well, I do have what's his name? Shujimi, right? He's the one that tries to go in gung ho, and of course, well, he suffers a gruesome fucking fate.
Oh my god! No! Hell, get
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's
Lord
about as bad as
Toxic
it gets.
brought it up that Jujumi's when they were interviewing everyone, he says, I got into Harvard, but Dad said it cost an arm and a leg, so I'm here. And then the first thing he loses is an arm and a leg.
Very good.
I mean, it's the fact that once he loses his leg, he just starts screaming like, "No, holy shit! Like what the fuck?"
Oh my
is
god! Oh
yeah.
my god!
You realize
Hurts.
what you're really in, and
This was Verhoeven turning the gore up even further from
Right.
Robo and Total Recall.
because
17
Total
gallons of
Recall's
blood, I
very-
think.
Yeah,
Not
Total
as high
Recall's-
as Showgirls though.
yeah.
I love Showgirls.
Showgirls, the bug scene was horrible.
Well, they even made a full scale mechanized warrior bug that could lift a person. So
Oh yeah, I do have a picture of that. In the
I think
BCS
that's what we
stuff.
saw in this scene, though.
Yes, you do. It's the one that
Yeah.
raises him a bit. You know what? I can replay the scene just. Sure. I mean, fucking. I guess we love gruesome deaths on this channel.
Oh my god! No! Hell,
We just like replaying the same clips over and over again.
I
Toss
mean,
of your buddies.
Emily Blunt still holds the record, by the way.
Oh
th-
yeah.
this is the moment where the actors screaming are just enjoying themselves enormously.
Oh yeah.
They're just giving it all.
You can
Yeah.
tell, and it's great. And yeah, as you were saying before, it's the actual mechanical bug. You can see the switch to when it raises him up, and that's where you can see the actual model that they're using. So yeah, of course, this is I forget her name. I think it's Katrina or something.
Yeah.
The redhead. And
Yes.
Aspiring mother.
yeah, the mother, and yeah,
She doesn't
sees,
have she runs, right?
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
she
because
falls into a hole.
Yeah, she falls into a hole and she gets basically dragged, and we don't see her off screen. Well, we don't see her death, but we just see her get dragged, which, God,
That's bad.
whatever that implies. Fucking Jesus. And so yeah, we're back to square one, ladies and gentlemen. Here he is, the interviewer. And dude, the cameraman, I have to salute him. 10 out of 10. He was out there doing his job. He never let anyone get out of frame. It's fucking fantastic. Of course, you can see him look there risking his life just for the perfect shot. It's like, yep, this is the type of cameraman we need down in the wars, of course.
Real journalist.
Yep.
And
but
they thought that cameras would be ENG sized cameras back then.
Well, you do make a point, because I do think the cameras would have been way smaller for the movie, because already we have cell phones. Cell phones can do up to 8K, I guess, on some phones.
And
Better
ends
guy.
with Steadicam. I mean,
I was literally gonna say, can you imagine like a true steady cam though, like a one in front instead of being the shoulder? Like that would have been a great visual of a guy running around with a steady cam.
Oh man, and of course, cameraman never dies. That gets disproven here. He fucking dies, of course. And we end up with where we started, I guess. So with Rico getting his artery fucking chopped up, and he doesn't die, of course. Yep.
Well, I mean, if Sabine can be laser sorted, then he can live too.
It didn't really seem like they had much strategy as the ground troops. They asked Rico, "What do we do?" and just kill them all.
Well, yeah, because isn't it supposed to be Ace actually at that point who's the squad leader? Because Rico, even though he is back, he was kind of demoted, and so that's when Ace freezes up and he says, "Just shoot, and that's it." And of course, at this point, Rico he gets stabbed, and that's where we see at the beginning, of course, where he just lays down. And I think what is inferred is that Michael Ironside's character comes and saves him off screen. Probably that's what happens. If I remember correctly.
Yeah.
That's what's
Who do you think saved your ass? Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, he dies first and then he gets saved, yes.
Yeah, he does. But he does put up a good fight. You know what? He I guess they have unlimited shotgun ammo. Mm-hmm.
He was channeling RoboCop then for some reason. I could just feel it.
Oh man. Well, I've got a super chat from common people. If Stefenson was born in 1930s Germany, he'd be a bad guy. He's fallen for filthy.
How do you know that's not true in 2020s America? Well,
the bugs did nothing wrong. # bug lives matter. Thank you, common people.
Earth bug lives matter.
We should probably switch to that because I think if I haven't looked at it in a little while, but I think the poll went 100% for Dizzy last I checked.
Oh, wait, let me check. It's at 86% right now. Well,
there's always a contrarian or two in the audience, right?
Oh, let me end the poll then. I'll see. All right. So poll has ended, and it's 86 and 14. I guess that's pretty good. That's actually pretty good. Those of you who voted for Carmen, I guess, it's just
what's wrong with you?
It's just because Denise Richards, I guess, Hey, but in
Denise
the long
Richards
run,
for them.
Yeah, in the long run, you will probably appreciate Dina Meyer.
But yeah, I guess it's probably a better poll to have as to whether people think that the bugs are wrong or the humans are wrong. That's probably a better poll.
Based on the ending, I would say the humans were in the wrong. Based on the final scene with Doogie Howser, you're going, okay, this is part of some bigger plan that we were never part of.
Yep.
I love that they there's a nickname for him, Doogie Himmler.
Yeah.
It's like a fan name
that is around. Great. That is fantastic.
And of course, another message
no
from
homosexual designs on this giant bug. No.
That's the best censorship that they do in the whole movie when they take the like the probe and they stick it in the mouth of it and they censor it because of what
they were
the mouth
saying that
they
censored it not because of like gratuitousness, but it's censored because it's like quote unquote military secrets.
Correct.
Yeah.
Also, it's funnier that way.
Because that's why it's so good. Because
agree,
even
I
if it
agree
is a
with
bunch
Jill.
of space fascists, it's still such a good movie. So maybe we all just love space fascism. Maybe we're all just secretly drawn to it. Why do we all love this movie so much?
Well, it makes fun of it.
Yeah.
Right. It's so good.
So good.
Oh yeah.
I think people were just offended by Denise Richards' perky nose.
It's a little
Very upturned.
Just too perky.
Daddy paid for a visit to a rhinoplasty.
Her nose was extremely like angular in this. Yeah.
She looks like the Bewitched drawing.
Yeah, she does.
Very
You're right.
Yeah,
From the
upturned
profile.
nose, right?
Da-dun, da-dun, dun, 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 da-dun, da-dun, da-dun.
Hell yeah.
Has Casper Van Dien had any work done, or because back then, of course, because
Don't think so.
Damn, then he just naturally looks
chiseled,
like a doll,
Chiseled,
like a
yes.
chiseled man. Jesus,
He still looks chiseled now.
Oh yeah, still looks good. I don't know if he's done any surgery or anything like that, but he still has that same jawline. He hasn't really put on a lot of weight at all. He just looks the same but older, which is it's pretty good. It's a good gift, I guess. Of course, another message from the Federal Network. Of course, this time it's in black and white because everyone has
Very sad.
retreated. Everyone's fucking died at this point, and
They've run out of
100,000
color.
dead. Yep, 100,000 dead in 1 hour. You see the bugs, and
Kind of failed.
Yep, and of course, at this point they've got the
Got
old
Lizzo.
Right. Tahut Maru.
Moving
Sky
on.
Marshal Tahut Maru.
Yes, Sky Marshal.
Sky Marshal Lizzo.
Right.
I would say it's mostly most. I think it's more like the woman from South Carolina. What's her name?
True. Well, what's cool is like the idea that Sky Marshal Deans resigns. You know, like that would be like a huge red flag. It's like, no, I stay. We're going in harder. You know, the idea that he accepts defeat and resigns and he gets replaced by a diverse woman of color. It's very, very cool. It's a good thing.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
admits
Go ahead.
that he underestimated the bugs, their intelligence.
But
Yeah,
remember,
the common
we've
trait
gone-
of fascism is like doubling down, never admitting defeat. We're always winning. The fact that we're so transparent that we got our asses kicked is like kind of a 180 from what you'd expect.
Yeah,
but it's kind of more like a play on Vietnam. You know, the idea that we saw the war
exactly.
in Vietnam, yeah, this is why we don't put cameras on the scene anymore. Really.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's a good point. You barely see any cameras on the scene. I mean, what you get now is drone footage of a fucking house with the civilians getting blown up. So hey, the next best thing.
Or the civilian cell phone footage.
Yeah.
Yep. That's pretty much it.
The man on the left was wrong. The woman on
Right.
the right was correct.
And it's kind of what I was saying is like she might be in the minority, but there are people out there who are like, we have to find out what the bugs want. Like, what is their deal? You know, that seems to be for some people like this lady, like that should be primarily issue number one. Like what, but how do you communicate with an animal like this?
Yeah, exactly. This is usually the point in a Star Trek story where they try to communicate and see if they can figure out a way to negotiate something or talk or whatever. But this movie is, I find the idea of a bug that thinks offensive.
Right.
Yes.
Well, that's a great screen grab, by the way, Uninspired.
But this was that other layer. Again, it was the others. No one is smarter than us. Oh, they actually have
arrogance.
thoughts
Yeah,
and they can
arrogance,
think.
yeah.
It's just brilliant.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you
Paul
know,
Verhoeven, man.
there was a certain group of people after 9/11 that certain other people thought were mindless, can't think people. And there's some
reflection
parallels there.
of life. Yeah, exactly. Especially, considering this was out in 97.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking about the entire movie. Actually, I was like, damn, this is
But it kind of
pretty
reminds me of like
interesting.
Independence Day when the bugs or the aliens finally communicate with Bill Pullman, the president, and he gets like, he shows what, he sees what they've done and he makes it very clear, like what they want from us is to die. They're literally trying to just exterminate us and it's not cool. So like that would be sad if you finally get to talk to the Arachnids and you just find out they just hate us irrationally for no reason. And it's like, man.
Yeah,
Kind of
something
buzzkill.
like that is going on now. But
True.
My favorite part in the Independence Day was when they managed to hook up a Mac OS portable into a completely different OS system of an alien vessel and
With the same
uploaded a
connector,
virus.
yes.
Now there's a MacGuffin that drove me nuts. Like I almost stood up in the theater and went, "This fucking can't happen."
Is that Paul? Was that because you always wanted a real Macintosh?
I have one. I've gone
Now you
back.
do.
I've stopped making Hackintoshes.
So supposedly, and I know it's not the movie we're talking about, but supposedly in that whole thing, there was a scene that was written that either never got recorded or it was a deleted scene that explained that all of because they reverse engineered our computer technology from the spaceships, that was one of the reasons why it was able to be compatible.
Well, that would be bullshit also.
Yeah, I agree with you, but that was at least they tried to address it.
Oh my God, that was like anyone in the theater that knew anything about computers would have just been beside themselves.
Well, like I like to say, Chato, I always like to say, welcome to Earth.
Yeah,
that's one of my favorites.
Or as Eva Gabor said on Green Acres, darling, truth is stranger than friction.
Oh man,
Oh man,
that's what I call a close encounter. Sorry, I'll stop quoting Independence Day.
What other channel would quote Eva Gabor?
Oh, dude, yeah.
Where
you have
else?
to have some Hungarian genes on the
Again,
on the
well,
channel.
Dude,
that's
my
what I
dad
thought,
loved
yeah.
Green Acres, man. My dad loved that show.
Very subversive show.
I know.
Paul, I know that you
Fun.
said you have to leave soon.
Yeah,
I
have to go.
you have to go right now.
Yeah.
All right. So, is there
No.
anything you'd like to touch on the movie? I mean, you could jump way ahead for now.
No, I think I've said all my piece. I just love this movie. I think it holds up really, really well. And it's so funny talking with people who don't understand aspects of it and who complain. We talked about already why all these pretty people who can't act and they just didn't get it. Like it's so nice talking with you guys because you understood all that, all that was going on there. And like I said, just the bug attack, how fast and decisive it was a real revelation, I think, at that time for CG effects, or not CG effects per se, but the application of CG effects.
Yes.
Yes.
People weren't in love with their navel. It was, I don't know. And I've learned a few things from you guys about the movie, which I'll go back. I think I'll watch it again. And I mean, I've seen it, I think, about almost as many times as I've seen The Matrix.
Hell yeah.
It is such a good movie, and thank you very much for inviting me onto the channel
it's our
to
pleasure.
discuss it.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. I mean, you're
coming on.
It's wonderful.
I love
meeting
your
you.
content. I love, anytime I see you on an open bar, we haven't crossed paths there yet. I've been on a few times, but I haven't been able to cross paths. So it was awesome when I reached out to you and you were interested. And
Yeah.
maybe we can have you on again sometime. If you like Matrix as much as you like this, we got that one coming up.
Okay,
later this year
if
too.
you got coming, yeah, I've seen that about 30 times.
Okay,
I'm there.
I'll message you and we'll talk about it.
The only Matrix movie.
Yeah, I agreed.
Paul, it's always a genuine pleasure to stream
Mr.
with
Brown,
you,
I haven't
my
been
friend.
on your channel in a while.
Anytime you want to come on Sunday, just give us a shout, mate. You have an open invite. It's always a genuine pleasure to stream with you, sir.
And you guys are great. This was
Yes.
lovely to meet the rest of you. It was
Our
a
pleasure.
real pleasure. Enjoy the rest of
Likewise.
the enjoy the rest of the
We're at the halfway
show.
point.
No, it's an hour. We're an hour in.
Yeah, have a lovely Saturday.
Thank you. It's going to go much faster now without my stupid interruptions.
No.
They're great.
It's gonna go even
It was
slower
wonderful.
now.
It was wonderful talking to you, and I hope we get to do this again soon.
Thank you, Paul.
So long, everyone. Bye.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Now that that guy's gone.
Oh, thankful for that.
Bummer. No, because I wanted to keep going, back and forth on like, is this fascist or not? Like, is this fascist society or not? I like it, but Jill's here still, so like we can still keep going.
You've
All
got
right,
an hour
and,
left. You should do a two-parter.
I don't think we
That's
get
just
to.
me.
I don't think we get to see enough of the civilian society to
Right.
truly tell just how oppressive it is or not.
No, we barely.
That's
see
something I
the
wanted to talk about too. Is
villains.
like militaristic society, maybe, but it's a military-based story. So like there could be like entire facets of society that are free of the military, or like you said, like maybe the military are involved in every little bit of our future day-to-day lives. If you're a citizen, who knows?
No,
It's not really
I
explored too much.
get the feeling with this, the world is totally united. Yeah, so we're all a collective group.
Maybe.
Remember, it's 200 years in the future. We've gone all past all this navel gazing shit. Yeah.
So
We're going out into space. Yeah.
So
And
one
just a
thing
single
to-
country doesn't go out into space. Mankind.
No,
goes
it's the
out into space.
Federation of the world, basically.
Yeah.
It's, I
Yeah,
think
we've
what
gone
is it?
past all that
Geneva
naval
is
shit.
Geneva is like the capital of the world at this point. So
the world government.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Dark Hour.
I was gonna say, we just tapered in. We got our back to chamber here.
Yeah, Star Wars back to chamber. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. In my mind, this it reminded me directly of the Incredible Hulk for some reason. Not the Incredible Hulk, Ang Lee's Hulk for some reason.
Sure.
Because there's a scene in there, and he looks kind of buff, So yeah, and of course, Rico, he was deceased, but he is not deceased. He was saved. He's a rebirth. Yes, and of course, the new platoon that they join has Michael Ironside as their leader. He's the lieutenant, I guess. Yes, the lieutenant. They're
I mean,
roughnecks.
he didn't know they were called rat checks, roughnecks. I guess
Rat
maybe
checks,
not.
roughnecks.
Maybe,
But
yeah. I guess. Well,
But
maybe
yeah, like in the
they'll put
book,
two and
this
two
is
together.
supposed to be a different character. And the fact that they bring back the teacher is a nice touch. He's got his new arm.
Yeah,
he's ready to rock.
Oh yeah, and of course,
The chat are having a go at me for saying this film's woke.
Oh,
I think honestly, I think Stupenzo said it best. That it's so woke, it comes right back to base.
I've said this on many streams. I know this kind of word woke is very offensive, but there is good woke when it's completely organic, nothing is forced, and nothing, I mean, look at that picture now.
Well, I mean, I think the thing is that it's not it's not woke at that point,
Diversity was better when it wasn't forced.
Yeah, it's not forced. It's totally organic. Nobody gives a shit. My point is, nobody gives a shit if you're black, white, pink, yellow, rainbow, whatever. Nobody gives a shit.
They literally
It's
all shower
totally
together as if
organic.
it's like
Yeah.
like their society. They all shower together, and no one's considering it a sexual thing.
Yeah. That's true,
Like,
actually. Yeah, it's just bonding time. What are you here for? What are you here for? It's like, yep. And of course, she I forget her name. I do remember Sugar though, but I don't know her name because she doesn't last very long.
I can look it up.
Yeah, but she punches Ace, and of course, like today.
I hear
people
your
would be like,
lieutenant's
"Oh,
a
yeah."
real nutbuster.
Yeah,
Boom.
I'll just quickly say yes. When it's forced, that's when it's offensive. When it's organic, that's when it's good. As I
Yeah,
said,
That's why
Star Trek, the original series, was totally organic. Nobody gave a shit about where you come from, what your color of your skin is, blah 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 blah.
exactly. That's why I agree with Princess Fiona to call it diverse or progressive because woke means it's forced.
Another thing about woke would be heavily anti-military, heavily anti joining the the army in general. Like I don't know. So, but
praise your overlords, but yeah, fuck the military. Basically,
her name is Birdie, by the way.
Birdie. Oh, okay, yeah, Birdie doesn't last long. So Birdie and Sugar.
She does. She's still alive. She's alive at the end.
Sugar doesn't last
her
long.
arm melted off.
Sugar lasts longer, yeah. So basically, what they have to do is destroy Klendathu. I think it's the outlining systems that they say one by
Tango
one.
Urilla.
Yep, and of course they show them why the world government is boss because of this fucking incredible carpet bomb over here. Boom.
Yeah, first Fleet glasses the planet, then MI mops up. It's so good.
Wow.
Practical explosions as well. Amazing.
So here's some
That was what I was
crazy
gonna
shit. And I'm sad Paul left before he could bring this up. But I heard that it took 32 hours to render a single frame of like these big swarm scenes. So what they did is they invented some really cool like sprite technology, so that way they can reduce the frame rendering rate to, get this, 18 hours a frame. That's how long it took to render like the big invasion scene at the end. My God.
Jesus. I mean, considering how smooth it is and everything, it's a fucking achievement. That's what I mean. Like, that's what I've been saying, man. Paul Verhoeven, I think that he fucking sold his soul for something to make his movie CGI fucking perfection. It is insane.
No, it's just
how good it is.
it's basically the same crew as
Every time.
RoboCop and ILM involved, and the Sony side as well. It's just a lot of people.
It's his same
really
cinematographer as well.
their
Each
fucking game with
movie.
this.
So yeah. So of course they carpet bomb. They show them why the world is boss. Of course, we kind of get a closer look at what the bugs look like. So kind of his eyes, and that's pretty much the max that we get in terms of close-ups. Yep. Then of course Sugar shoots it and gets covered and everything. But of course it's time to nuke him, Rico. And it's weird because every time they used to say, for example, at the beginning of the movie, the first time that I was watching it, when they say we're using nukes, I didn't really think they was like actual tactical nukes until I saw the fucking impacts.
Yeah,
You know what? Let me just show the clip because man, it's fucking fantastic. Jesus. Intense, man. So there are tactical nukes, and of course this is kind of very stupid if you think about it. Using real guns, real bullets in a circle, shooting the middle.
Not a good idea.
Yes, kind of as if friendly fire has been turned off, basically.
Watch your crossfire.
I
They're
just
all
think
aiming up at a 45-degree angle, luckily.
I guess.
I guess.
Jesus. Yeah, this would probably, everyone would be dead in real life at this point. And so, of course, they've corralled everyone in. They've killed all the bugs. But the Big Bertha basically comes out. And this is where, what did you say her name was, Dark Hour? I've already forgotten.
Birdie.
Yeah. And, of course, Birdie loses her arm, sadly. Fucking fantastic effects, by the way. It's really great, especially the color contrast as well. Oh, there it is. The color
Tinker
contrast
bugs.
as well. I really love it. Weren't these in Spy Kids?
Probably.
No, seriously. Yeah, but sure these were in Spy Kids as well. Of course, man. Rico does take it out by jumping on the back, shooting its hide open, and dropping the grenade in. Of course, great effects as well. However, I do think that you would probably lose a lot of grip. You'd probably be off in a second. The momentum.
Dude, you forget that Rico was captain of the team, bro.
Yeah, I guess.
I could do it.
We know you could, Dark Hour. Looking all beautiful.
You know the music when you get the countdown for when he throws the grenade in the tanker bug. The last few notes are I'm sure they're the same musical motif as Star Wars at the end. You know, when the Death Star goes up, I'm sure it's the same motif.
Maybe I have to re-listen.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure
back
it is.
to back and see
as a little nod to Star Wars, because there are lots of little nods in this film.
Oh yeah, for sure. I honestly wouldn't be surprised. I'll take your word for it, for sure. I'll maybe cross check later on if I when I rewatch it or on YouTube. Then of course, Rico has taken out the bug, and now he's promoted to what is it, corporal, right?
Yeah,
he's become a killing machine, and this is the part where his promotions just keep piling up quicker and quicker.
True.
Yes.
And then he tells what's his name? Jake Busey. I need a squad leader. Ace, there you go. And he's like, nah, I blew it, man. I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
Which is a more responsibility. Accepting responsibility for your mistakes and stuff is a common theme in this movie or the book as well.
Yeah. It's
take
good.
your licks,
It's
keep on
like
kicking, you know?
Character growth, man. That's how it is. It's like there are consequences to your action, as Paul was and so so like Paul Verhoeven, his movies are a lot like that, which is why I do think as well, I just consider it, like Starship Troopers just has that edge over what he's done before. Just has it. There it is. Dark Hour, you want to read that?
Sure. Woke is considered from Princess Fiona. Woke is considered the implementation of the philosophies of BLM, Antifa, and Me Too with intersectional theory. It is by definition forced and practiced with, I'm assuming that's supposed to say anti-white, anti-male.
Yep.
So
yep.
That is
forced. Yep. Of course. Forced.
The point I'm trying to make is it's anti-woke. Remember, back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, woke didn't exist. It's only, as Fiona said, recently this word has become offensive. But anyway.
I mean, it had a different meaning back then, too. So that's that.
None of us gave a fucking shit about anything like that. Whereas now it's just important to a minority of people. It's so important. Moving on.
Yeah. And just before we move on, Julio Rangel for $5. Thank you, Julio. Satire is not easily digested by the unwashed masses, just like RoboCop. Yep, satire flies over a lot of people's heads. Surprisingly, even today, I guess satire could fly over a lot of people's heads, which it's kind of weird. I think the last example in recent years I would say would be The Hunt, that came out in 2020. Because that created that's a different tangent, but that created a huge political divide. But when the movie came out, it was just a fucking satirical movie about what's it called, The Most Dangerous Game, basically. Yeah. So well,
I want to make it clear that when I first watched this movie when I was 12, I definitely was on the this is making fun of American militarism and it's the bug, we're all fascists. But after watching it like 100,000 times, I'm like, nah. I would totally Federation. I think the Terran Federation is like the most like one of the best visions of a futuristic utopian society I've ever seen.
I mean, look, they give you beer and they give you entertainment. What the fuck can you ask for, man? Come on.
If you
Well,
want to
I
vote,
say
Go ahead, Jill.
you were a precocious 12-year-old.
Oh, I was a huge cinema buff.
So I just reviewed Star Trek Nemesis, and they have these crazy dumb green plastic symbols, and so I thought it was kind of funny. This one has a dumb green plastic violin.
Right? Is Nemesis the one with Tom Hardy?
Yes.
No. Okay. Cool.
I spotted on the credits for the movie. It's Jake Busey, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
Jake Busey's violin training by Mrs. Verhoeven.
Oh,
that's
pretty cool.
I knew he was really playing the fiddle right there, and I love
yeah.
the sound of that electric fiddle too. It's got this like tinge
Twang.
to it or whatever. Yeah, that's cool.
Oh yeah. And then and of course Michael Ironside, he's out here and he's saying, "Don't waste a good thing." After Rico brushes off Dizzy once again, even threatening to pull a rank, which was kind of a bitch move from Rico, and finally decides to go dance with her, which leads to them, having
because Ratchet gives him the best advice in the whole movie. He's like, "Look, you wanted advice one time. Do you want it now?" He's like, "Sure." Never pass up a good thing. That's like obvious. So thank you, Ratchet.
Yeah, and then they have sex twice.
Yeah, he's the hero of the film, though. But yeah, and that's also the greatest part. The 20 minutes. I mean, dude, Ratchet is my man, dude. I love the guy.
I think the fact that he entered there and he had such concern on his face when he saw that there was someone under the sheets. I think he was more concerned that it wouldn't be her, and he was like, "If it's not her, I'm gonna beat this dude." And the fact that it was her, he was just like, "Yeah."
He says, "Get your shit ready in 10 minutes." Sees Dizzy, he goes, "Make it 20."
Make it 20. Yep. And of course, where they go is to investigate a distress call. Over here, and I forget the name of the specific planet, but it is the distress call that ends up being a trap, and we're introduced to the new type of bugs, the flying ones.
Is it Planet P?
Yeah, Planet P. Yeah,
Planet P.
I forget what P stands for. It's a big, long, crazy, hard to pronounce name. I bet.
I'm on it.
Okay.
Yeah, they're the aerial support bugs.
Yeah, aerial support bugs. There it is. And then of course they come into the place, and everyone's basically dead except for the general who was in the closet, and he is rank above everyone else because
No, he wasn't in the closet. He was in the refrigerator.
He sure
comes out and he's like, comes out and he's covered in like frost.
Yeah.
And it stands for Planet Piventa Manus.
Jeez, awesome.
Yeah. All right,
I love all the alien names in this movie.
They're great. And then of course, there he is.
He loses it almost immediately when they walk to the next room. But when he comes out of the refrigerator or the freezer, he's covered in frost.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a continuity error or something.
Is that Quato from Total Recall?
Yeah, totally.
Yes.
They get in your head.
Well, it's the body that Kawato is attached to.
Yeah. That's where I recognize it from. I was like, "Fuck, I know this dude from another Verhoeven movie." I couldn't pinpoint it.
Verhoeven is basically like the original, like Christopher Nolan. He just kept using the same people and everything for random.
The original Tarantino.
It's like Brown. Brown said this like a Verhoeven sci-fi trilogy. It's such a masterpiece.
Oh yes, the Holy Trinity. Yeah.
Yeah. This one, RoboCop and Total Recall. It's just like, who cares which one's better? Like they're all so awesome.
Well, they're three very different takes on like the action genre. So
yeah, and they each have their unique, their unique I forgot the word. Their unique fuck it, I forgot the word. It'll come back to me. So we find out that the bugs are basically sucking out brains because there are holes in people's skulls now from the top. And that's what the general tells them. And that it was a trap that the bugs themselves are trying to understand humanity. And that's how they want to destroy
Michael Ironside gets the best line in movie history. They sucked. What did they say?
He goes, Yeah,
they
go ahead,
sucked
Freddie.
they sucked this man's brains out or something like
He,
that.
he literally just goes,
And
they
he
sucked
sucked his
brains out.
and he's got the 2 fingers with like the blood.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Still good even now. Still good.
Yeah, they make you do things.
That's something I wish we got to see more of. Like, you know, they get in your head and make you. So the idea that he's like calling a distress call with like a bug in his head, you know, like, and he's just like a corpse basically.
Yeah, we never see that actually. We only see how they make the hole, how they suck the brain out. I would assume maybe it would be the
Send more
cockroaches that we see
police.
later on that do this, but
No, so it's implied that when you have the like sucker spike thing in your head, that if they want, they can control you, or they can steal your brain for memory purposes.
Yeah, your knowledge.
Yeah. Late. I mean, in the second movie, which a lot of people don't even acknowledge exists, but they do have like they show that they have developed ways to control people's brains, though other ways as well.
yeah, and so yeah, so they finally learned that it's a fucking ambush. Everyone was prepped for war except for them, and man, we get a very, very cool fight sequence that probably took, I guess, a year to render according to Steve. So
a year?
So,
it probably took like 7 years.
You probably had like an entire room. And this is again why I wish Paul was here, because I'm just speculating, but I assume you have an entire room full of computers and all they do is render 24/7, you know, rendering little scenes. But what they managed to do was like they would render it in layers. So you render like the other stuff like at lower resolution, quicker and stuff. So it shaved off like a good 6 hours a frame. But, damn.
It still looks good even now.
Oh, it looks amazing.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. But you know
This
what-
is a
what-
homage to Zulu, by the way. The movie
Really?
Zulu.
I haven't seen Zulu in such a
totally.
long time.
Yeah, the compound scene.
Well, then let me play the clip of the fucking attack, and let's see some people get decapitated again, ladies and gentlemen.
Fire, Will!
You cut out the best part though, when they cut back to them and they look at each other and they're like,
yeah, fuck it.
Oh, it's cool. It's like I didn't know they could do that.
Dude, it's such a good battle too. I mean, dude, just look at what's on screen right now.
When I was watching this New Year's Day, bearing in mind, I as I said, I'd been out raving the night before.
Rolling your tits off.
This, when you know the camera pans over the wall of the compound to this shot, and I just looked at my friend. We just looked at each other, just like, "Fuck."
Yeah, the undulating waves of bugs everywhere.
I couldn't even imagine if this was
Incredible.
like in proper 3D back then, coming back from a rave, watching this in
I
like
still
real
remember it now.
3D.
This film wasn't in 3D, by the way.
Oh yeah. That's what I mean. I mean, if it was released at a
It
time where there
still
was
looks
actual
great.
proper
It
3D.
still
Oh yeah.
looks fantastic. Even
like
now.
like in this still frame, if you look closely, you can see as they get further away, they basically just become lines. But like when it's moving live action, you can't really tell.
No.
I
it's great.
distinctly remember in this theater, in this scene, when there's the big reveal of like how many bugs there are. There's like 1 million of them, you know, hundreds of thousands. I remember the theater, there was like just like this general wave of like, oh, dude, they're so effed in the A right now. It was not looking good. I remember there was like this feeling of dread.
Oh yeah, and of course, you know, it's completely fucked, but they continuously get overrun, and of course, Xander comes in saving them because yeah, for me, this is part of Xander's redemption arc. He's just there to save people. He's there to actually do his job, and he doesn't really care about
Professional.
who he's saving. Yeah, he's professional, exactly.
Well, when he calls for help, Rico, he says, you know, hey, we're under attack. The distress call was a trap. Send units right now. There's bugs everywhere. This place crawls. This place crawls. And they're saying, well, we don't have anyone, you know, to get there. You need a crazy pilot. He's like, well, You know, I hope it's like to go there. That's crazy.
Well,
It's
it's, you know,
suicide,
I think the exact line is to go there would be crazy. And he goes, well, I hope you have a crazy
I hope you have a
pilot.
crazy pilot. And we've already established that Ibanez is a crazy pilot. So
yeah, of course, you know, Michael Ironside gets it, and too bad, man, too bad.
the thought of this being Michael Douglas, though, does sound appealing to me. I don't
Rico, you know what to do.
Yep, the one shot, boom.
Just as he did for somebody earlier.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a callback, and of course, I think he gave the gun to Rico at that time after he shot the initial soldier. He's like, "I'd expect you to do the same for me." Yep, there it is.
Can I bring up real quick? So we didn't really touch on this yet. What does everybody think of the actual guns that they have? They just seem impractically large.
They're normal guns, right?
Well, no, these are pretty big by like gun standards. Like in terms of like,
with sci-fi movies, they usually take a real existing gun and just slap a bunch of like plastic and pieces on it to make it bigger and bulkier and more sci-fi looking. I can't remember what exact model of this gun is.
I would imagine
but
these ability that like the Aliens assault rifle. One better.
The pulse rifle.
Yeah, one better.
Where's Lord Toxic in the chat? He'll know. He always knows this stuff.
Yeah, gun talk, American gun talk. I don't know. I'm never seen a gun. Oh, actually, I have. Yeah, my dad used to own one. Yeah, because casino forced to. But yeah, Michael Ironside gets it for sure. Sadly, I do think it's. Good. Yeah, I do think that I wouldn't have liked to see him survive. I think this is fitting for him because, or else Rico wouldn't become the lieutenant later on, and he wouldn't be as big. Yeah, go ahead.
The only issue I have with this is that, and we're about to see it. Obviously, we lose Dizzy very shortly after this. Is that the two deaths are so close together? You almost don't have time to really mourn Michael Ironside. Though it's like it gets lost in the transition.
It's war.
It's war.
I get that would happen in real life, but I'm saying from a cinematic perspective, I wish there was just a little bit more space between them.
Yeah, I guess, but I mean, yeah, because like I'm with Brown on this because at the same time you're kind of getting overrun, so you don't really have time to mourn. It's just like kind of rushing. I would say maybe. Go ahead.
If you're watching this in the cinema, you are pumped. I was, but you're pumped. It's just adrenaline. So fucking good. This.
I don't know. I think it works well because they do give. The thing is that they give Diz the time that she deserves, I guess. Yeah, I mean, probably I do the same.
When you get to the United States, they're like, "Okay, welcome to the United States. Here's your paperwork and your gun."
Yeah.
And so so Diz blows up the big one. Of course,
the quarterback on the team. You know, she's got a good arm.
Yep, exactly. Again, and then look from behind. Oh no, just so. The thing I don't understand is she stopped because he told her to look behind. At this point, you know that you're being overrun. Just fucking run, you know?
Keep running. Yeah, run, faster. Come on,
don't look back.
So tragic.
Or at least turn around and shoot. Like literally grab your gun and start shooting. Like
leave, the part of the alien that was, the part of the alien that was in her, was it in her leg or her body?
It was in her chest, I believe.
They should have left it there.
Yes.
Should have left it there.
There it is.
Yeah, okay.
Because she wouldn't have bled out then.
Yeah, and also it's like at a certain point, like, what is the point of the armor? You know, like, what is the point of the armor if like they could just stab right through it like butter?
Rico, leave it there.
Yeah, it's like just fucking. Yeah, I mean, she could have survived because
her
Rico
entire liver is destroyed. You know, right there, like, ew.
Yeah, but they could rebuild it.
Yeah, but they would have had time to get her up to the ship if because as soon as they removed that, she bled out, and that's what killed her.
Well, she bleeds out in the ship, but I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's like this is the triggering thing. It's the same thing that they tell you don't pull out a knife if you get stabbed.
Yeah, just leave it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it sucks, but one thing
but she's already got 3 other giant exit wounds already. You know?
Yeah, go ahead, Dark Hour.
I actually just lost what I was going to say. It'll come back to me. Go on.
Don't worry, we'll get it back. And again, I just love the different colors that they have. You know, the red. It was kind of before like when I forgot her name already.
I remember what I was gonna say.
Go ahead.
That was like that particular scene was like a staple of the 90s of 90s movies. The like, look out behind you, slow motion. What? Yeah, cool. Like that was like a trope at that point.
Yeah. And, but I hope Well, I think it's died down in terms of the trope. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, they
I
don't
hope
use
so.
it as much anymore. It got overused a lot in the 90s and early 2000s, and they've kind of
Different
stopped
tropes
it.
now.
Yeah, now there's other things that they overuse.
Shitter
Mm.
tropes. Moving on.
And then, of course, yep, Diz dies, sadly.
I love you, Johnny. I got to have you.
Yep. Man, it's
Yeah.
actually
Kiss
pretty
me.
fucking sad. Really, really sad. I was pissed off at this scene because, hey, Carmen gets to live. Yeah, it's like, oh, fuck Carmen, man.
That's the
Alexander's
idea.
Alexander's like, hey, I think you should know this, but like your old boyfriend's back there.
And your old boyfriend's back there, and his new girlfriend is dead. Like it's like,
Yep.
Yeah, the
that's
vapid
it.
coupling set up at the beginning of the movie is what wins.
Oh yeah. Then there they are, looking like a bunch of dude. Casper Van Dien really just looks like a fucking toy.
Comic book
Really
illustration.
He's almost unrealistically good looking.
Look at that jaw, so fucking square. That jaw.
Perfect chiseled jaw. Like he's got like his facial symmetry is damn near perfect.
That dude's face is an absolute unit.
Yeah.
It's so
His head doesn't match the rest of his body because he's like not really a particularly big dude. Like he's he's lean, he's in good shape, but that his head looks like it belongs in someone who probably weighs about 50 more pounds of muscle.
Casper Van Dien, you handsome bastard.
Yeah, you
I
lucky
want to
son of a bitch.
there's apparently a brand new like straight to streaming crappy version of The Most Dangerous Game that he's in with Judd Nelson, and I want to watch this. Looks bad.
And then of course there we are for the burial of
Space
Dizzy.
funeral.
Yeah, space funeral, which is pretty good. I like it. I
So,
do think it's great. Go ahead.
We haven't really touched on like the sequels and stuff that's come out since, but is anybody familiar with any of the other stuff?
Shite.
Nope.
Yes.
So the most recent animated one that was like produced by Casper Van Dien brings her back as like his like mental avatars, and they brought back the actress to do it. So like they've kind of given her a better send off, so to say, now retroactively.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they also find a queen bug in that one, which is very, very much like Aliens.
Yeah. And I don't, go on.
Well, I was going to say, what was the cartoon series?
So that
was it Roughnecks?
Yes. Yeah. Roughnecks. And then
that was really good. What I remember of it.
Yeah. And then there was
live action.
That was really good. That was really good.
Then there was the
I
two.
didn't see the sequel. Are you saying that they bring Dizzy back like a Force Ghost?
So there's a couple of live action sequels, and there's like 3 or 4
animated.
stage 6 animated movies that are actually not bad. But
Yeah,
the last
the
what
one,
they
animation
do
ones
is
are pretty
the
good.
animated one, Dizzy
So what
comes
they
back as
live
like a
action-
hallucination.
Yeah, like what they
Yeah.
do is because they have like the whole ability to go into the brain and work with the psychic like stuff. They essentially like find his like inside his brain, like his like consciousness avatar, the thing that like grounds him, and it's her. So
If I remember correctly, the kind of in
okay.
inverted commas real life sequel was really poor. They had no budget, you see. I think was it Marauder?
Marauder. So
That
Marauder
was
at least
reasonable.
Marauder at least had the
Yeah.
idea of it. It still had the
Yeah.
satirical aspects. It was
It
much
also
lower
brought back
budget.
Van Dien, right?
Yeah, whereas
Yeah,
the
yeah.
second movie was Hero of the Federation. That one just flat out sucked.
It's weird.
Yeah,
But yeah,
the
anybody
sequels
who's
just
out there
fucking
that's
suck.
if anybody's out there interested in like expanding, skip Hero of the Federation, go right to Marauder, and then you could jump into the animated ones, which are pretty good.
The last one.
This film should have made a
Invasion
lot-
and Traders of Mars is the one that they bring back.
Trader of Mars is good. Work your way backwards from the sequels.
If this movie made lots of money, I think we would have been in a better place for Starship Troopers.
Yeah, it would have been, I think it would have been a legitimate franchise series,
Yeah.
not just like this direct to DVD stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course,
Never mind.
yeah, we oh, go ahead, Mr. B.
No, it's because never mind. It's just it is what it is. Yeah, it is what it is.
How much longer until they remake this gem? You know,
No, they
Bring it
won't.
back.
I'm not sure if they will. I don't
No,
because
no,
I don't
yeah,
think they would be able to do it properly.
I don't think it's. I
It
don't
didn't
think that
stop
they
them
consider
before.
it. No, but I don't think that the main thing is the producers probably won't consider this Starship Troopers a household name enough to just say that we can grab this out of our pool of IPs that we can just fucking rehash whenever. So I don't think that I think Starship Troopers would be for them the bottom of the barrel to scrape in terms of IPs.
I give it 3 years before they announce a remake of this.
No, I give it a minimum 6. Yeah.
This film was 20 years ahead of its time.
Oh yeah,
that's its biggest problem, is that it was definitely, first of all, it came out at a horrible time, like I said, because what else was there? But had it come out maybe not 20, maybe like 10 years, I'd say it's about 10 years before its time, I think it would have resonated better with audiences.
Yeah, and of course, at this point, we learned that Carl knew all along that it was going to be sort of a massacre, and what they wanted to do was to find the, I guess the ass bug, whatever it fucking looks like,
the brain bug.
Well, it looks like a fucking ass, dude.
No, it doesn't look like an ass. You know exactly what it looks like.
Yeah.
It looks like
very yonic. It's very yonic in nature.
All right, and so he knew it, and of course he's kind of distraught at this point. You know, you can tell that he's had to make difficult decisions that cost hundreds of millions of lives, and they just don't sit with him because of the bags under his eyes, the way that he dresses, and of course, you know, the only dude named Carl comes in dressed like a fucking SS officer. So yeah, there we go again.
Yeah, that is quite a coat.
Yep, and of course at this point, Lieutenant, he appoints Rico as lieutenant, since Michael Ironside is dead now. And now at this point, it becomes Rico's Roughnecks. And it's our ragtag new crew, with our only survivors being Rico, Sugar, and Ace at this point, of everyone we've met so far. Well, on the infantry side, of course, I mean, not Carmen, who's still alive.
Carmen and Xander are still alive, and obviously Carl, who will never die because he's not on the ground, so he's not in the combat. So
yeah, Carl will never die.
In theory, baby. Games in theory.
And of course, so what they go do is looking for the smart bug, and sadly enough, Carmen's ships gets taken down. Well, sadly,
the special effects where one of the ships gets split in two by the plasma. Watching that in the theater, fuck me, it was just so fucking good. I'd never seen any special effects look so amazing. It still looks fantastic, you know, with the individual decks that are on fire.
Yes,
such a great special effects shots. Still looks good now. It's still 30 years old. It's so fucking good.
It's the Roger Young that's cut in half. The rear section explodes. And it looks gorgeous.
It looks fantastic.
So beautiful.
Incredible.
I think modern filmmakers should use this as the benchmark of CGI / practical effects.
Well, like the issue, Mr. Brown, is that a lot of producers won't let you use miniatures at all. So they won't let you mix CG and practical. Because I was looking at an interview with Seth Rogen. And there's a lot of instances where he said that he wanted to actually use miniatures in his film, but he said producers kept telling him no, because either A, they were too expensive, or B, it was just way easier. They were forcing him to do everything in CGI, basically telling him it's easier in CGI. So unless you're someone who has a very big, I guess, namesake, maybe kind of like Spielberg or something, I don't think that today you can get through with just
the spaceship in the background that's ripped in two was a practical effect.
Yeah,
it's all practical, folks. Obviously the fire is added later with the CGI, but it's practical, you know, it's real.
Yeah, there was a guy whose job it was to destroy the ship like that.
Yeah, you're a lucky dude. Man, these guys having to like explode miniatures, that's a fantastic job.
Pyrotechnic specialists.
Oh yeah. Then of course,
you know, my friend, I had a buddy who did stuff like that, stuntman work, and they said that whenever they needed a fuse, you know what they use? They use non-dairy creamer.
Non-dairy creamer.
So you just take non-dairy creamer and sprinkle it, and like in Looney Tunes, you could drop a match on it, and it'll like make a TNT little fuse that goes to wherever you want it to.
No fucking way! I actually have to try that now.
It's flammable.
I'll try it now.
Yeah.
And of course, so Carmen manages to get off, and the instructor dies. I forget her name, actually. Their captain of the ship. dies.
yeah, I
Banez,
already.
Abanez or Banez. something like
No,
that.
that's Carmen's last
No,
name.
that's Carmen's
Oh,
last
okay.
name. Yeah.
How do you pronounce it? It's Deladir? Deladir?
Oh.
Deladir? Deladir. Her
Was
leg
she-
is crushed when the airlock closes on her.
Was she in
Closes
that
on her like
house?
on her midsection. and
What
she
was that
dies.
Housewives TV series? She was in that, wasn't she?
Oh, nice.
From about 20 years ago. What was it?
I have
The
no
Real
idea.
Housewives?
Chat, help me out.
Brownie's trying to remember something.
Hollywood Housewives? I don't know. It's one of these. Terry Hatcher was in it as well.
One of the
Real Housewives of
movies.
I know what
Hollywood?
you.
About
have
20
no- I
years
know what
ago,
you-
it was. Yeah. There's 3 or 4 series of it.
There's so many
Brenda
shows with. There's so many shows with
Strong.
Housewives in the title. Brenda
That's true.
Strong.
Mm-hmm. Desperate, yeah.
Thank you.
Desperate Housewives, yeah. So they kind of get kidnapped basically because they know that the fact that they're down there will send a distress call where other people will come through, and of course they'll be able to pillage the other people's intelligence. So, yep, the bugs are smart now, clever girls, I guess. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen.
It's kind of cute. It's
the
kind of
probe thingy. It is kind of cute, actually. It is very moist, I would say. But hey,
It is kind of why you feel sorry for it when it's like getting all probed and prodded at the end of the movie. But really, fuck this thing. This thing's evil. You saw how it killed everybody. I mean, it's not really
The humans
our
are
friend.
evil.
I know. I'm just being a contrarian, guys.
But of course, at this point, Rico comes and saves them because, of course, he got a telepathic message. Well, under the covers, telepathic message. Go ahead, Mr.
The Xander effect, where he had that spike thing in his brain and it sucked his brains out, and you saw it in real time. Fucking so good.
His face gets all drained.
So good. So fucking good.
Really, really good.
I also like how this he gets this like king bug. He gets like escorted everywhere on these little
cockroaches,
Casper
basically.
bugs that that's like their whole mission to just move him around.
Slight
Jabba the Hutt.
nitpick.
Yep.
The girl who's been, where she got
Carmen's
spiked.
shoulder?
Yeah, Carmen.
Yes. She has a hole big enough to
Seems
fit a
to have
Coke
recovered
bottle
very
through.
quickly. Yes.
Yes, and she's like handling she's literally like handling a big ass impractical assault rifle like immediately.
You see this glass? I could like slide this cup like through that shoulder probably.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Yeah.
huge.
Jesus, I didn't even think of that. I even forgot that she was injured. You guys actually reminded me of that. Yeah.
Later, you see her like holding the gun with 2 arms, and it's like your arm is
a nitpick,
useless.
Just a nitpick.
Your arm would just be hanging like a Ace Ventura style. Like,
yeah, and of course they managed to leave because the bug is a smart bug, so he knows. It
Get the hell out of
knows-
there.
Yeah, it knows to get the hell out of there because there's a nuke, and of course, I mean, these guys would probably detonate it if it meant killing it. And of course, so they get attacked, but Sugar, man, they fucked up. Sugar fucked up. He got hit, sadly, and of course, he's there giving us his last stand, which is pretty good. I like Sugar for the short amount of screen time that he had. He was
Just there
impactful.
to kill bugs.
Yeah. I mean, even when Rico is about to say, "Oh, we should go save Carmen," and he's the first one to say, "Yeah, we should go get her. We should try and split up the team." And then, of course, Rico says, "No, we both know that she's dead." Of course, it just shows the empathy that Sugar has for Rico, especially knowing that he lost Michael Ironside. Then after that, he lost Diz right after. So just that one thing that he knows will possibly tip him off the edge. And of course, he sees that Rico is kind of like a hardened dude now, so respects it.
He is.
Yeah. It's just, I love it.
It was only the telepathy that got him to save Carmen.
Mhm.
Otherwise, he would have just left.
Yep.
Yeah.
And, he should have left her anyways. I mean, I would have said, yeah, fucking leave her, man. At that
Well, they
point.
they actually had to cut out from the original cut that they like get back together at the end, and people hated it.
Yeah.
Oh.
They cut out
God.
that, and also, like I said, she has more of a for sure romantic relationship with Xander.
Yeah.
It's kind of implied in this one, but like there's like
Yeah.
scenes of them like courting.
Yes.
No.
That's
Heavy
pretty much-
flirting.
Yeah, really heavy flirting to the point where, fucking asteroid could come through and, oh my God, we can't see it.
Might I add, there is a bit of foreshadowing that many people don't ever mention that is what ends up saving her. Is there's the whole thing about, oh well, why would we need a knife? And the only thing that stops her from dying is the fact that they had a knife.
Right.
Oh, yep,
Yeah,
true.
Off. That's good.
Xander gave her the knife.
If I remember correctly, there is an alternative ending, but it's been so long since I've seen it.
Yeah, it's probably the original ending that they just didn't use, that they had to recut or whatever.
Might be. I meant
no, it's definitely a different ending. This is the original ending, what we saw in the theater. I remember the Laserdisc when it was released. The Laserdisc originally had all the alternative endings, and this woman who I knew, she taped because she got the Laserdisc from the USA. So I had it on VHS before it came out in Blighty, and it had all the alternative, deleted scenes, and there's definitely an alternative ending.
Yeah, I could imagine that. Maybe on today's versions as well. Maybe if they have like a Blu-ray or something that comes out for, I guess its anniversary. Maybe they might do one for its 30th anniversary or something.
Which would be in a couple of years.
Yeah, they'd probably include all of that actually. So yeah, there it is. You see, it does look like an asshole. Look on top.
No.
What?
Well, not the part that that we're looking at different.
No. I'm talking about the above the part that you're looking at. It does look like an asshole.
It looks like both at the same time. That's why I like it.
And it's looking at you.
The little piercing thing that sticks out needs to go back in so you can see the whole the whole effect.
Yeah. But the eyes are the eyes are really, really cute. Makes you want to touch them.
It's like those those solid, those like poor guys. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
man.
Then of course they caught him, and what does he say? It's afraid. It's afraid.
Yeah. What's it feeling, Colonel? It's afraid.
There are people in the chat saying a lot of early DVDs were laser disc rips.
Oh, nice.
I will say I had the first release of Starship Troopers on DVD, and it was 2 discs because it wasn't dual layer. You had 2 discs.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's true. A lot of
so it played for half a film, and then you had to change it and put the other.
Yeah, I remember when video games used to do that.
Or was it double-sided? I think it was double-sided. Yeah,
probably
double-sided. You had to turn it over. Yeah.
I actually have it. I grabbed it for the stream. I have the Blu-ray here.
Wait, let me put you in.
Yeah.
There
so it's like really cool. It's very minimalist, and it doesn't have. Yeah, it's really nice.
That's fucking great, actually.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's got both the 4K and Blu-ray.
Is that some kind of foil print, or is it just
no? It's literally steel. It's steelbook.
The blue looks like nice and shiny.
Yeah.
Smilex says it was 2 discs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never owned it on DVD because I had it on VHS since the beginning of time, and I wore that tape out, man.
I'm sure it wasn't dual layer. It was before dual layer was. You had to turn the disc over, I think.
I've never had the
which was a pain in the ass.
Turning the disc over thing. I always just had like 2 DVDs, so put in one.
It might also it may also be because there's different versions released in different
countries.
Regions. So
Exactly.
There's possibility some people had. Like if you were in one country, could have been a double, like a flip one that you flipped over, and one other countries could have been 2 discs.
I don't think there was anything printed on the actual disc itself. It was just a plain disc.
I remember those, like where
so you had no idea
you actually it would be on that like little plastic bit on the center. You had to read it.
Look, yes.
and yeah, Sergeant Zim, he's here. He's a private now, and of course he's the one that called the smart bug. Yeah, it's just great to see the payoff for this, and great to see Sergeant Zim over here. Man, fantastic. It's a nice happy way to end, of course, especially considering fucking Carmen lives. Oh, God, really hate Carmen. The last message from the Federal Network is how we end the movie, of course, and we're back to the same font at the beginning. So a while since we've seen that. You got to know your foe. There they are with the probing. Dark Hour.
My favorite censorship in the whole movie.
Same.
I felt sorry for the brain bug.
Yep.
I did
because
actually.
He's got those cute eyes, those cute eyeballs. You're like, oh.
Because it
Right,
was
exactly.
It was the humans who invaded them.
Well, why
think
couldn't
if
they
it-
find a more non-violent way to communicate?
They could have. They could have.
We just want to communicate with you. Ah.
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah. So he gets probed. I mean, they do say they probe him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
Ding
god.
dong.
Learn the secrets.
And we need you, Uncle Sam. There it is.
This part is. Go back a moment. This is
This one?
obviously direct. It's a verbatim of the 1930s Nazi propaganda movie. That's what Paul was talking about at the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you look at the, it's just a direct rip-off. It's exactly the same.
We'll fight and we'll win. We have
Oh, yeah,
the
well,
weapons.
That's how it is, and
Because
and
that
yeah,
is
so-
something that's very fascistic. Is like I said, never admitting defeat. We're always on top of things. Everything's going smoothly.
I mean, just look. You have to look no further than North Korea, who says that they win the World Cup or the Olympics every year, depending on which one it is.
Fuck yeah.
I do like how they needed to like stick a probe in that bug's face just to learn that we need stronger guns. Like that seems pretty
yes.
apparent. Like, yes, you need big guns that shoot big bullets and blow mountaintops
Listen,
off.
no,
But
no one can pass
afraid.
up on giving a good probing, man. That's just it. Fuck it. Then of course, yeah.
Did anybody say the bug said the bug was afraid?
Yes.
Did we say that? I can't remember.
Yes,
Yeah,
we did.
yeah.
We did.
The twist is,
The-
you guys, that we already know how to talk to the bugs at this point, and the bug is asking for its weekly probing. It's like, I want to get probed again. It was voluntary. It was consensual probing. You guys are just assuming. I'm just kidding.
So we do get the last info on where our main characters are. So Carmen is now a captain, of course. So taking the place of the woman that was in Desperate Housewives, I guess. Yes. And then of course Ace, he's still a private. Doesn't want to move up the ranks. Just wants to stay there because he had his chance. He fucked up. He said so. And Rico is a lieutenant.
You want to live forever?
They do some really great subtle differences with their hair to make them seem like more grown up, more adult, more aged.
Yeah.
Their hair just seems a little like higher and fluffier. Carmen too, like Carmen's hair. It's like it just seems older. You know.
Yeah.
Their shoulder pads
Regulation.
too. It's just like it's good.
Yeah. And then of course they'll keep fighting and they'll win. Yeah.
And yeah, that is one of the things I'm very happy that they don't show the final battle because, like Dark Hour said, it's already getting repetitive. You know.
Yeah.
Well,
and
that's the
there
point.
is-
It's endless war. They're gonna
Right.
keep going.
right.
And there it is.
And I
directed by
was
Paul Verhoeven.
and I was pumped. And I couldn't wait for the sequel.
Ooh,
Yeah,
well,
right.
So, like the sequel,
I'm still waiting for it.
unfortunately,
I'm still waiting for it.
the sequel, unfortunately, the first sequel at least was they tried to go more of a route like Invasion of the Body Snatchers or like actually more like The Thing, I would say. And it just didn't work in this environment. The second sequel, the Marauder, had the feel at least. I said that earlier.
If I remember correctly, you know the captain who got the doorway
Yeah.
when she was cut in two, she was in the second. She was in the sequel again, playing a different character. Which
I could take a look for you.
I'm sure she was
Maybe.
in. I'm sure she was in it.
Did
was her-
Verhoeven participate in the sequel? No.
No, nothing to do with it.
Nothing. to do. There it is this him? Yeah,
think
I guess
I
so.
never saw
Yeah,
it.
that's him.
There it is. Look, he's chilling. And of course, this is the huge one that they built that I was talking about that I had a still of. Massive.
Oh.
I mean, guys,
Rad.
look at
That
they're
was
all-
just as big as the ones in the movie.
There are
Size.
lots.
Yeah,
of,
she. Wow, you are correct, Brownie. She was. She played a
Yeah,
completely different
just like-
character. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Like, she needed the
That's-
money.
Moving on.
If anything, they could have made it a prequel and just had her be the same character. It wasn't that long later. It was 7 years later. She wouldn't have looked that much older.
Mm-hmm. Oh, dude. I mean, I still can't get behind the fucking huge ass model. Imagine walking in a Hollywood warehouse at night. You just have a flashlight and you see this shit in front of you. You just
I gotta
stumble
show
on
you
it.
later. I
My
gotta show you.
God.
There's a lake somewhere where they like dropped a.
Oh,
this ridiculous-
Jason Voorhees, right?
Well, no, not that one. There's actually
Oh.
it's a shark statue at the bottom of this lake with these gigantic teeth and stuff. And I'm like, can you imagine just being a diver that went down there unaware of it? Just your wetsuit's wet on both sides now.
And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. To end off, I leave you with Dina Mayer looking good.
Mighty fine.
She's having fun.
Oh yeah, bro, Starship Troopers.
Uninspired.
yeah.
Did you get the picture that we sent to you over on Discord?
Do I? Did I? Yes, I probably did. Let me just.
But yeah, just save that for a little bit.
Yeah,
and,
don't worry, don't worry.
But I'll go around the horn right now. We'll start with Jill. Your final thoughts on the film.
Oh, I love this war movie.
war.
This war. I want to sign up now. I'm gonna be part of the infantry, and the only good bug is a dead bug. I just love the satire of this movie and the totalitarian society. And I know there was some contention on just how oppressive this government is. That makes sense. That makes sense. That's a question, because it really is. There's not a lot answered, which is a good thing.
Right.
Sometimes the best movies don't tell you everything. They don't overbog you with details that don't mean anything to the rest of the story. And that's why it's such a good movie, because it's streamlined storytelling and it focuses on the character driven, and it's gorgeous. I love all the characters. You know, they seem like vapid teenagers full of themselves at the beginning, but then they grow up and through the terrifying grittiness of war. And the love square is completely tragic. I love it and I hate it at the same time.
I hope that you said call it a love square. I like that. Because two triangles that are attached. I like that.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah,
usually though, the point of this is why I love this is because it's the opposite of Star Trek in terms of not actually. They're trying to figure out what the bugs want, but not because they want to communicate with them and be peaceful with them, just because they still do. Both sides, the bugs and the humans, both want to annihilate each other. And so it's so unclear who are their aggressors, and that's the fun in debating that, which this live stream did a great job of getting into that. I enjoyed it very much. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on.
Stupenzo.
Yeah, well, like Jill was saying, violence begets violence, and I've totally entertained the idea that I could be completely wrong and I'm easily duped by propaganda, and it's all. But this movie is just so fun to watch. Regardless, it's just such a great, fun action film that sci-fi, all these great elements in the book. I mean, there's a good audio book on YouTube that you can listen to. It's pretty entertaining. Not entertaining. I'd say it's more educational and informal, but. I loved being here. Loved talking to y'all. Love geeking out about movies. Always grateful to be here. So it was just a blast and a half. You know what I mean? One tactical nuke, right to my dome. Loved it.
Brownie. He's back.
I will say 28 years later, still a great film. Lots of happy memories. I didn't understand the military kind of propaganda stuff at the time. I just saw it as a really good sci-fi film. Who'd have thought it was the peak of Verhoeven, and it was downhill from there.
Yeah, what was the order that his stuff came out?
It's part of the Verhoeven Holy Trinity.
Yeah, Total Recall, RoboCop, and
RoboCop, Total Recall, and
Basic Instincts, Showgirls, Starship Troopers. Yeah. And then that was pretty much the end of it. He did Hollow Man after that.
Showgirls. Hey, Hollow Man was good. I fucking love Hollow Man, man.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's just a shame we never. It is just a shame it never made the money it deserved.
Yes.
It's 20 years ahead of the time of its time. Such a great movie. So many happy memories. It's just fantastic. Still good today, folks. And it's on YouTube for free if you search. It's amazing.
It is. Oh, yeah. Thanks for coming on, Mr. B. Always a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Uninspired.
Well, I mean, it's my channel, so I'll ask you first.
Oh, yes. Sorry. I have the shirt that says host, though. So
host.
I mean, I can't really add much to what was said here. It's, it definitely was ahead of its time. It suffered from some really poor timing on its release. And I am glad that we did get at least some decent extra material with the cartoons and stuff, but it never really went further than this. And the best part about it, and to me, is that Casper Van Dien, like he really like Dean, however you pronounce it, he really like embraced the character and still loves the character to this day. And
Yeah, he
he's
still loves it,
trying to push it, and it's like I love when I see somebody do that, because so many people get pissed off when they get associated with the character and try to separate themselves, and he's like, nah, screw it, let's just do it, let's keep
Rico.
it going.
You call me Rico.
Yeah. I'm surprised he hasn't changed his name legally to Rico. Like, but yeah,
I will, if I may. Showgirls is. I enjoy Showgirls. It's a good film.
Love it.
I don't remember
I like
Showgirls.
it. It's a different
remake
beast.
of All About Eve.
It's a different beast, though.
I've seen it
Yeah.
like once, so I can't really.
Well, kind of like how RoboCop makes fun of 80s action films while being a very good one. Showgirls does the same thing with like these type of soft core films that were a thing. The Skinamax movies.
Wait, is Showgirls a satire too? Because I've never seen Showgirls. I only ever
It's amazing.
saw
It's a remake about All About
Lindsay
Eve.
Ellis review.
I haven't watched that one, but yeah, it's a little cheesy for sure. But yeah, I love it. It's a little dark, obviously, and very gratuitous, nudity and everything.
Very gratuitous.
Oh yes.
But it's
I know
still
they
an
were
enjoyable
trying to-
watch.
They were trying to like make it into like a Rocky Horror Picture Show type thing, where like people would go see it like randomly at like midnight showings and stuff, and it just never
Fucking
took
love
off
Rocky
like
Horror
that.
Picture Show.
It just it
All
didn't
about-
take off like that.
Yeah, well, All About Eve is a movie about like actresses like clawing their way up to the top and backstab each other, and this is basically the same thing, but with these Vegas showgirls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. Actually, we should do a two-host Rocky Horror Picture Show, man. I'm a sweet.
I thought you were
Yeah,
gonna
two
say
Showgirls.
Two Showgirls. Dude, we wouldn't be able to show any of the damn movie.
I'll
Yeah,
help you
that's
put
the
little
thing.
censors bars on everything. I'll help you do it. I can do it easily.
Two Showgirls.
Oh yeah, probably
Uh,
Showgirls, man.
Uninspired. We have one more super chat, but
Yes,
you up
just
to you
saw it in,
which
man.
order you want to do it in.
What do you mean? Which order I want to do it in?
Your final thoughts or the super chat first. It's up to
Oh,
you.
I'll do the super chat, man. Mo Sizlak for $9.99. Thank you so much, Mo. It's a movie that I didn't truly Sizlak, yeah, Mo Sizlak for $9.99. There you go. It's a movie that I didn't truly understand as a kid, but appreciate as an adult. Yeah, yeah. That's
I didn't understand it when I was 29, but
still
now
don't
I just
understand
about I think I get it now. That's why.
Thank
it's
you,
so
Mo.
good.
I don't think anybody really understands it except for the people who like possibly Paul Verhoeven. Like,
No,
he
I
might
don't
be
think
the
even
only
he
one.
understands it. I think he tried to. Yeah, I know. I mean, he didn't even read the book. It's based on.
He read the first 2 chapters, and then he immediately had somebody else read the rest of it and explain it to
Niemeyer.
him.
Probably
Yeah.
his wife.
Yeah.
yeah.
There was I will say this, there was a lot of the people involved with this film though were very gung-ho about it, and they really wanted it to work because like they were legitimately out in the desert recording, and at one point Jake Busey was like in the hospital for a few days because he had heat stroke.
Dehydration.
Yeah, he had
Yeah.
heat stroke and dehydration. They had to like modify the costumes with like
Mhm.
holes to make it so that way they didn't overheat all the time. So they even ended up setting up a like a mobile like basically like IV drip center so that way people could like
Jesus.
The love is on the film.
hmm
It's just
Yeah.
a shame people didn't watch it. In a nutshell, it's a shame. Never mind.
Yeah, it's a shame that people didn't appreciate it back then. But I mean, that's kind of on par for some great films that we consider cult classics today. Back then, just look at The Thing. Fucking people didn't like The Thing when it first came out. People critically panned it, which is fucking insane to me when you look at it today.
Idiots.
which is especially funny because now there's a lot of people who have now taken that as like, oh, this movie that came out, like for instance, The Marvels or something came out. It was a huge flop, and people were making fun of it, and critics didn't like it. It's going to be good in a few years. It's like no, just
be
because
proven
that
wrong.
happened in the past doesn't mean that.
Yeah, I mean, that's why they do critical reevaluations of movies, of course, but it does have to, it has to be a fucking good movie. I mean, a lot of people like Roger Ebert, but that motherfucker missed so many times for good movies. Like, yep, It's weird, but yeah, I mean, my final thoughts on Starship Troopers, I fucking love it. I do think it's some of Verhoeven's best work. But I honestly kind of love everything that he does. Just incredible. Hollow Man is probably my personal favorite of his, just because
you're a horror guy.
Yeah, actually, yeah. It's because I'm a horror guy, and also it's the fact of the Invisible Man is an entity that I appreciate, and I think that has such a horrific angle that you can take, but people never really took it until Hollow Man, and it's like, hell yeah, you know.
The Invisible Man, Claude Rains is his name, right?
Yeah,
or is that
Claude
the actor who
Rains.
played him?
Yes, no, it's the actor.
He's got the highest death count out of any of the movie monsters, you know?
Oh yeah, on Dead Meat, right? Yeah, the kill count.
Oh, you know what? I had
100.
seen. Let me see if I still have it open.
I've never
'cause I
seen
saw
the
the
Invisible
kill count.
Man.
The
you
original
should, Mr.
Invisible
Brown.
Man, he kills
Bearing in
like
mind he's
100
invisible, so I can't see him. Moving on.
Oh, I see what you did there. Oh, I walked right into that.
Dad
Wait, hold
joke.
on.
Sorry,
I had-
folks. I fucked
I
it
had
up. Sorry.
seen it on here. There was the body count in this particular movie in Starship Troopers is 256 actually. So
Wow.
Damn, that's rookie numbers, man. That's rookie numbers.
yeah, you got to pump those numbers up.
In Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
And obviously all the people who died in Buenos Aires.
Well,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think the ones you see on
I know,
screen
body
is the
count,
way it
yeah.
works. Yeah.
Yeah, if you count Buenos Aires, this is like the highest death count of all time.
It's like 10 million.
8 million plus 125 or whatever.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we do have one small announcement for everybody out there. Do you want to take this uninspired? Do you want me to do
Oh,
it? How do you
yeah,
wanna-
sure. Let me just add to stage. There it is.
Dude.
Ba-bow.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna
Start-
fist fight?
Yes.
Oh, go on,
yeah.
I'd love to see that.
Are you gonna
So-
do like a Vegas brawl?
So starting next week, we
My
are
money's
going
on
to
Dark
be
Hour.
what?
Is it next week or is it the
If you guys are
27th?
fist fighting, my money's on Dark
No, it's
Hour.
next week because I'm not gonna be around.
Oh
for a
yeah,
while.
I remember. Yeah.
Starting next week, we're going to start a game show. It's going to be each one of us will select a representative, and they will not know who each other are. That's going to be part of the fun aspect of the gimmick, and it will be basically a trivia off with various rules that I've designed from years of being a fan of game shows. And the first one's going to be a little interesting because no one's going to know what the rules are. Like, even if I send them the rule book, they're probably going to be like, "What the hell is this?" But yeah, it's going to be the first one's going to be general pop culture stuff, and then we'll eventually try to do more like specific ones, horror movie, Christmas specials, stuff like that. But the first one's going to be next week, and we can't tell you who's going to be on it because we do not want anybody to know. So, but yes, that is coming for 2024. We're probably gonna do like 4 of those throughout the year, like probably
Yeah,
like quarterly.
they won't be as often. They're gonna be some, but they're gonna be sort of short streams, probably about an hour and a half. Tops,
Yeah, hour and
so-
a half. Yeah.
Dude, it's
Yeah.
not gonna be like Lance's trivia gauntlet that we all went through.
Oh,
No,
no, we all
insane.
died.
4 hours of trivia. I'm just like,
I want to go through the whole thing and see who scored highest
brain.
individually.
my brain was fried. Lance sucked out our brains.
Yeah,
dude, trivia was hardcore, man. Lord, that was some tough trivia. But yeah, and that's pretty much all. Do you guys want to plug anything? Anti-derivative Jill, do you have anything in particular that you've got, a new video, a live stream coming up soon?
I do. But first, I just want to thank you for inviting me on this incredible panel to talk
It's our
about
pleasure.
this movie that I love so much. And I do have a channel, same as my name, Anti-Derivative Jill. I love to talk about science fiction of all sorts. And in particular, I'm still going through Star Trek, the original series, lucky enough to have some left. But it is season 3, and we're going into Plato's Stepchildren next. I just love Star Trek, and so that's a big part of my channel, and it always will be, but I like to explore other stuff too. Sometimes I reach out a bit and do other things like Spartacus and Excalibur. And
Nice.
I hope to talk to you guys again soon. Thank
for
you
sure.
for having me.
Yeah,
on.
guys, check her out. She's
you.
the links are all in the description. Everything's there, so you can go check out her channel. Drop her a sub. Really great content as well. And make sure that if you drop a sub, try and watch at least 30 seconds of a video, or else
Yeah.
YouTube doesn't really count your subscription. It's pretty fucked up, but that's how it is. And yeah, Mr. Brown, you got anything you want to plug?
we're just, as you know, we are about Wednesday and Sunday, occasionally popping up Saturdays. That's about it, really. I think most of the people in the chat are regulars. So
Yeah. Pretty much.
Check
Thanks
check
for
out
having me,
Mr. B.
guys.
Oh, it's our pleasure, man. Stupenzo. I'll plug this for you, actually. Yeah, Stupenzo and myself did a wee watch of Full Eclipse, Verhoeven Van Peebles movie, HBO production. That shit was fucking incredible. One of the best werewolf movies I've ever seen. So yeah,
was
we've got a
fun.
wee watch on Stupenzo's channel. You guys should
We also
check
did
that
Bad
out.
Moon together, which was another good werewolf movie. But yeah,
Indeed.
basically every Monday I do a live show, a stream, Tales of the Dork Side, and then over Wednesday we do a Dork Side We Watch, which are going to get drastically better in quality now.
Yes.
So I'm excited about that. Brand new year. I'm also thinking about remastering some of the older ones. So next week will be the 1 year anniversary of the From Dusk Till Dawn commentary I just kind of released on a whim. And I'm thinking about syncing that up to some footage, doing the We Watch thing. Better audio, better overlays, better editing,
Hell
fun
yeah,
stuff.
man.
Check them out. If you
Or
like to
Selma
laugh.
Hayek.
Oh yeah.
Selma Hayek.
Oh yeah.
She sells anything.
Tarantino sucking toes. There he is
Her
again.
husband is worth $7 billion, by the way.
I mean, I'm not shocked. She could have
Amazing.
probably got someone who's worth even more.
$7 billion.
Oh yeah.
I was
That's
joking
why
about
she
how
looks amazing.
Quentin yeah, of course. Joking about how like Quentin Tarantino, obviously, like I just imagine him like acting like he's like coming up with the idea on the fly. Like, wouldn't it be interesting if Salma Hayek maybe picked someone in the audience? I don't know, maybe me, and she proceeds to put her foot in my face for multiple takes, for multiple angles. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. What do you think, Robert?
Second.
Yeah, Rodriguez is like, whatever you want to do, man. You weirdo.
The Dark Hour, man. I know that you got your beekeeper stuff.
Yeah, so unfortunately I had to pull it down. It was there was some cropping issues, so I'm gonna re-releasing that within the hour. No, it hadn't really been seen yet. I think it had like 40 views. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, it means I can see the premiere now.
Yeah, I'm gonna re-premiere it. So if you're out there and in the next like hour or so, look out for a premiere of my my beekeeper review, and please just go watch it. That way we can get those numbers going again. This is not the first time I've had to do something like this. I tried releasing 2 videos in 1 week, and I guess I just overextended myself a little bit. But yeah, so the I'm gonna be re-releasing that. Obviously, we mentioned two verses. And I think the next movie I'm probably gonna be doing is ISS. Because
you told me about that.
And
then
in
February?
No, that's end of this month. And then
that's the spaceship one, isn't it?
Yeah,
looks good.
Yeah.
And then not sure. I want to do a few more video essays, like things because the year is a little weird the way it's structured. So, but yeah.
I'll say to Rennie, if I can get bodies, yes.
Ooh,
there you go. Yes. All right, and so for me, I've got a video coming out next week. Yeah, we're Saturday today, so next week I've got a video coming out. It's the horror movie video. I set it in my community tab. This year is going to be a minimum of 2 videos per month for me. That's for sure. I know that I used to be able to crack out once a week, so I know I can do 2 a month for sure while juggling 2 hosts and my my other life, my life at home basically. So yeah. I've got a video next week, probably around end of the week time, maybe the same day as 2 hosts versus. I'll probably premiere it before, and then after that, just before, I've got another video coming out on the 31st. Is it 31st this month? Yes, 31st, which will be on a French movie called Vermine, aka Infected. It's the arachnid horror movie. So yeah, gonna watch that at the cinema right after I get finished with this video. So yeah, and then February is gonna be pretty cool, man. Pretty cool.
Please schedule Showgirls for this year sometime. Go on.
I mean, I don't know if I can get it in for this year, Brownie.
We'll do it on my channel, Brown. Don't worry. We'll go
Do
into it. We'll talk.
I think it'll be a genuine laugh.
You're invited. You're always invited, obviously.
There you go. Anti-derivative jail is 25 subs away from 600. 24 now.
Yeah.
So yeah,
23, 22. That'd be great.
22, yeah. So,
right. Well, that happened one time on Brown's channel.
So go check her out, of course.
The brownie effect.
All these lovely peeps here. We'll see you next week. Yeah. So next week Saturday, 2 hosts versus
2 hosts versus. Yeah, I gotta trim down. I'm gonna not force you to do all the editing for this one. So I'll have to trim down a bunch of video questions and stuff.
You can do those, man. I'll work on my video.
Yeah.
Dark Owl will take the
I'm gonna take the reins on this one.
That's what I've got to do is get into editing now. That's the next step.
Editing is really, really fun. I mean, well, when you get a hang of it, it's fun. But if Premiere Pro shuts down on you, yeah, you want to fucking offer yourself. But hey, it's still fun. So yeah.
And save off, and that's
All right. So yeah, I think we're done with two hosts today. Thank you guys for watching, everyone.
Cheers,
really
everybody.
do
Thank you,
appreciate
chats.
you guys in the chat. Thank you for everyone who sent in super chats. Thank you guys for just spending your time with us 3.5 hours. I think we've kind of nailed down the 3.5 hour cycle on two hosts.
If it's six guests, it tends to be 3.5 hours. It adds about 15 minutes per guest. So
yep,
give or take.
Exactly. And yeah, guys. So thank you guys all for watching. Thank you guys in the chat. You guys were on fire today. Thank you so much. Thank you.
They were roasting me. Moving on.
They love you, Mr. B.
We love you, Brown.
And of course, thank you to Chato, who was here, of course, before. And,
I will have, and I will talk to him about getting him on the Matrix, because if he's interested in that, I want to hear his opinions.
Yeah. So yeah, as Rennie says, have a great day, peeps. Thank you, everyone.
Cheers,
Dark
everybody.
Hour, I guess you should play the outro. I
will
fuck it
do
up.
that.
Bye, everybody.
Head exploding on loop. Is it gonna be the head?
Oh yeah,
exploding
do
on loop?
that. Go on,
Let's do
let's
that.
do that. Do that.
No, we have an outro.
Oh, go on.